Welcome, everyone, to Reunion Arena in Dallas, where this afternoon the Cleveland Crunch will take on the leaders of the Western Division, the Dallas Sidekicks. This is the 5th time they've met this year. Each team has won twice. Cleveland has yet to win, though, in this building. They lost their first game here in overtime. Welcome, everyone, to Dallas. I'm John Paul Della Camera. Alongside me is Ty Keogh. Ty, the Crunch are hurting, not just because they lost last night's game, but they're going without Hector Marinaro. That means that the offense must focus almost totally on Michael King.
Well, it's good to see that Michael King has really come into his own. He's scoring goals at a great pace, and he's gotten the recognition this year for the first time, voted to the MISL All-Star team. He'll be playing Wednesday night in San Diego, but what it really comes down to is he's up to the task. He's matured as a goal scorer in this league, and he's going to be able to do it.
And he's playing against some of his former teammates because last year he played for the Sidekicks before coming back and ending up in a Cleveland uniform. Now, when you think about Dallas, everybody, think about one word, and what would it be? You'd have to say tattoo, and he's having the kind of a year that he had when he scored 73 goals a few years ago.
That's right. He did miss an entire year with the knee surgery. He came back last year, and he had a good season, but not really the type of performance that we're used to seeing from him. This year, he's back on track. He's really doing it. He's striking fear into the opposition's defense. He can beat you so many different ways, and he makes all the players around him that much better, too. So definitely the man to watch, and the top player in this entire league, the leading scorer in the league, is Tattoo.
Ty, this might not be a pretty game because Cleveland played last night, and they are banged up, had to wake up very early in the morning. Kai Hoskevy would like to slow it down.
Well, that's one way to do it, and it's a tactic that many coaches will use anyway when they go on the road, particularly in a situation like this. But it's a bit of a two-edged sword. The Dallas Sidekicks may take this game a little too lightly. Cleveland has had their problems as of late. They have injuries. They should be tired from last night. But if Cleveland comes in here with some conviction and really goes after the Dallas Sidekicks, Dallas could have some problems.
We should have a good one for you this afternoon. Live from Dallas as the Cleveland Crunch meet the Dallas Sidekicks. It's next.
Do it now at Spitzer Chevy. Get a brand new 1990 Astro conversion van or a brand new 1990 full-size family van for only $15,995. These vans are fully customized and equipped with the options you want most. And while they last, you can buy one for only $15,995. It's the best deal going on a brand new 1990 van. And we have over 100 custom family vans for you to choose from. Now's the time to shop Spitzer Chevy in Northfield, North Canton, and Grafton.
Reasons why you should sign up for Society Bank's Prime Advantage. Reasons why you shouldn't. Call 1-800-SOCIETY to find out the location of your nearest Society banking office and the name of your Prime Advantage specialist.
Get to know one of the best teams in college basketball. Digger Phelps helps you keep pace with Notre Dame, introducing you to the team and taking you on the hardwood for every matchup. The Digger Phelps Show, Mondays at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, exclusively on Sports Channel America. Watch some of the best soccer players compete in one of the oldest soccer leagues in the world. Direct from Great Britain, it's English League Soccer. Rugged and exciting action every week on English League Soccer, only on Sports Channel America. Check your TV listings for days and times.
2,000,004, 2,000,005.
The U.S. Census isn't just a population count. It helps allocate federal, state, and local funds to your community for things like hospitals, schools, and daycare centers. So take a few minutes and answer the census. It counts for more than you think.
Welcome, everyone, to Reunion Arena in Dallas, Texas. We're minutes away from the start of today's game between the Cleveland Crunch and the Dallas Sidekicks. I'm John Paul Della Camera along with Ty Keogh, and we are going to take a look momentarily at the officials who will call today's game. But first, P.J. Johns, who will start in goal. He comes in with a 3.68 goals against average. He's 11 wins and 11 losses this year, and he gets his second straight start, actually third going back last week to the San Diego double overtime game. He played most of last night, some 56 minutes, and then Otto Orff came in at the end of that game. So it's Johns in goal one way. Chris Sobieski, well known to Cleveland fans from his days with the Cleveland Force and even before then the Pittsburgh Spirit. He comes in at 11 and 7 and a goals against average of 3.83. He is also an assistant coach of this team, assisting Billy Phillips. And in the background, Kai Haskeby, the player coach for the Cleveland Crunch. Dennis Mepham, we go down the line. Your officials, Kelly Mock, Felix Fuchsman, and Manuel Ortiz Jr. And we should be set for action here in Dallas. They played here Friday night and defeated Tacoma, whereas the Crunch played last night and lost 7-5 against Wichita. It's Michael King with Mike Sweeney and Bobo Lukic, Bernie James, and Dev Reeves at the back in front of P.J. Johns. The Crunch will take it. This is Lukic. The other way, it's Powers, Snyder, Beto, Doc Lawson, and Kevin Smith. This is really a defensive unit thrown out by Dallas right at the start. Mike Powers with it, knocking it back to Sobieski. Beto and Smith, midfielders, and Snyder was just out there to try and win something. He goes to the bench, and guess who's coming on? Tattoo.
Snyder just doing a little bit of the running for Tattoo. Normally, Snyder is a defensive player. It's unusual to see him all the way up there.
On the right side, Beto. 3 goals and 2 assists the other night off the boards, and there's P.J. Johns. Rolling it right side to Lukic. Bobo, 7 goals on the year. Up to the attacking red line, knocked away by Beto, but Lukic recovers back to Bernie James. Off the boards, he wanted Michael King, knocked away. James back after it. James, like several members of the Crunch, will head for San Diego in the All-Star game with a late flight tonight. Kai Haskeby just named to the team, replacing the injured Hector Marinaro, who couldn't make it. Marinaro missing from the lineup today, unfortunately for the Crunch. Injured his knee. You may have seen that in last week's televised game against San Diego. Even though he ended up playing some more, he did hurt his knee. On the left side, Chinapoo, who's just on to Kevin Smith. Scoreless here with 13:38 to go in the opening quarter from Dallas. Richard Chinapoo with it. Going long, right side for Tattoo. Bernie James will try and mark him. Long one by Tattoo, and that goes away. James has done a great job in previous games against Tattoo, but the trick when you're marking Tattoo is everybody else has to mark their man. You mark Tattoo, but everyone else has to watch who they've got.
Well, that's part of it. The other part of it is getting some help from your other defenders. If they can pinch over and help double team, you're going to be able to slow someone down like him.
P.J. Johns will be putting it in play. A reminder, this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of Summit Soccer Associates Incorporated and is intended for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Summit Soccer Associates Incorporated and Sports Channel Ohio is prohibited. There's a steal on the left side by Dali for Tattoo. Into the attack zone for Dali. Johns scrambling, doing a juggling act. He's in trouble there. The net is empty. Some good hustle on the other side, though, by Paul Wright. So Dallas doesn't get a shot away. But some anxious moments for P.J. Johns. Here's Chinapoo. He could score from that far out. Off the touch. It's going to be broken up and cleared back the other way. Wright, Mepham, and they'll reverse it. Kinsey defending against James. Paul Wright, who scored last night, his second consecutive shootout goal. A look at him. And the other way, Wes McLeod, who leads the MISL in block shots. We have today 6 of the top 9 shot blockers in the MISL going at each other. 3 on each side. Here's Dargle. He's one of them. Back for Johns. Off his right foot for Paul Wright. McLeod got in the way. Dargle and McLeod collide. Dali.
The game a little bit helter-skelter at this point. Both teams trying to establish some type of rhythm or dominance. And one of the really fun things about this league these days is that you don't really know what to expect in any given game. Naturally, in this one, you'd expect Dallas to dominate in front of their home crowd, and they're more rested than Cleveland, but you can't count on that.
Well, Kai Haskeby told me earlier they'll probably go with 3 lines and slow it down, but he said you never know once the game gets going. But if he has anything to say about it, they'd like to control the pace of it. Knocked out a good shot. Powers, you could hear that one just off the glass above P.J. Johns, and it goes out of play. It's going to be Cleveland Crunch ball. But that was a threatening situation. Anytime you can set up Tattoo with his back to goal or even his side to goal, you've got to watch other players. He can turn and spin on you, but he can also lay it off well.
Well, really his main strength is his ability to hold the ball. Here's Powers just really overpowering his shot and putting it just off the glass above that crossbar. But going back to Tattoo, really the key in this game is to be able to hold the ball deep in the opposition zone, because immediately there's a danger present in the team's defense. They have to react in some way, and that leaves other lanes open.
Haskeby with a header. Lawson knocking it down. Charlie Green on for his first chip. It's Green out there with Mepham, Haskeby, Dargle, and Sean Phillips. Tough match there for Phillips as he knocked Tattoo down. He knocked it back. They went with the advantage call. Good call by the officials on the far side. Tattoo backheeling it. Powers off the boards. He'll get it back.
Great hustle by Benny Dargle there. He got just enough on that ball so that when it came off of Powers' foot and then the boards, it didn't come out in front.
Phillips and Tattoo doing a little holding on to one another, Jersey style. People have really perfected that as an art now in the MISL. Haskeby trying to get by Powers. Powers with a block. He and Dargle collide. Dargle again with some good effort. He'll be one of your guests at halftime. Dev Reeves will be the other. So we hope people will stick around at halftime. But we're a long way from there. This is only the opening quarter. 10:45 to go in the first. And it's scoreless between Cleveland and Dallas. Now it's Tattoo on the boards. Knocking it back. Kevin Smith. Across from McLeod. Off the boards. Johns troubled by that on the short side.
Well, Johns has certainly been called right in here to be on guard, whereas Sobieski hasn't really been tested whatsoever. He's barely seen the ball.
King was knocked down by McLeod. You say he's barely seen the ball. I'm trying to think. They haven't had a shot at it.
No, his defenders may have knocked it back to him once or twice just to distribute the ball. Here we see some of the physical play. Wes McLeod just stepping straight through, and it's an obvious foul.
Joe Koziol is out for his first shift of the day. Coming back on the clear, Snyder with some good speed. All the way back to John. Snyder looks thinner than he did when he played for Minnesota. Not that he was ever heavy, but he just looks a lot leaner.
Well, he's a scrapper, though. He won't back down with guys that maybe have a little more musculature on him. He's right in there and is able to make things happen just with a lot of hard work, as you see him chasing all over there.
And he's up there among shot blocking leaders. Here's a deflection. King. Sobieski with a quick left foot to get it out for Lawson. A former teammate, I might add, of yours, I want to say in the old days, with Cincinnati Kids.
The very first year of this league, in fact, we were teammates with the Cincinnati Kids.
He's the only player that was here playing in the very first year that's still playing today, and he's never missed a year.
It's 11th season for Doc Lawson, and really, this is not taking anything away from him. He's playing better right now than he was 3-4 years ago.
That's a good point. Right now, he comes into the game as his second leading scorer to Tattoo. Watch out for the ever-dangerous Chinapoo. Along the boards, Reeves will mark him. Chinapoo, the former Baltimore Blast All-Star, to McLeod, and now it's Kevin Smith. Smith playing in more games than any other Dallas sidekick, his 265th today. Across the boards again, it's Smith. Sending it into the area. James knocking down Tattoo. That's going to be an incredible matchup.
Well, they're really pitting some muscle against muscle there. Tattoo built a little bit lower to the ground and probably nearly as strong as James. But James has the advantage because he's approaching the play from behind.
That was well done by Tattoo as he laid it off for Chinapoo to Dowley. Off the boards. He'll get it back. Does it all start, though, with the Tattoo pass? Does it go that far back?
It goes that far back, and you see P.J. Johns there a little exasperated. He's been under pressure this whole time. It was almost a matter of time before something worked its way through, and Wes McLeod knocks it into Tattoo. Just a quick little ball to the side. And that is Chinapoo playing it wide to Dolly. Nice overlapping run. He uses the boards well and just touched out in front to him by Kinsey. Kinsey did well to hold off his defender, clear the lane there for Dolly. And hello, Dolly, as they announce him at the start of the game. Put it away.
I like that introduction. Dallas has the lead. When they get the first goal of the game, they're 11-3 this year.
All right, let's see. Oh, my taxes, income tax.
For some people, doing their basic tax forms by themselves can make them feel like they're climbing the walls.
My full name is, I remember that, Dependents.
If you need help, free tax help is available from IRS-trained volunteers. Find them by calling 1-800-424-1040. They'll make your taxes less taxing.
This is where the goal actually came from Tattoo to Chinapoo, and Dolly making the overlapping run down the side and then just stepping back in front. He's wide open. No one has followed him on that entire run, and Kinsey really serves a nice little ball back to him.
That was one of the problems last night as Dolly and Chinapoo talking over in terms of Cleveland not tracking their man. Ty Hoskevy said if you looked at all the goals last night, you could blame 7 different people on the 7 goals. And in one case, maybe it's a mental mistake. On another, it's a case of somebody not following your man. It's not a mental mistake. You know you're supposed to follow him, but for whatever reason, you let him go or you're tired, you can't get him.
Well, it's a game of numerical superiority and being able to take advantage of it. And that time, that's what Dolly did. He got up into the attack. No one had followed him, and he's the one that made it count.
Hoskevy draws a foul on Troy Snyder down low. Plays it out to Benny Dargle. Now it's Lukic. Lukic and Dolly came here actually together from Yugoslavia. And Dolly had a shot at Cleveland and St. Louis and didn't make it. Ended up here in Dallas. Powers. Upfield to Snyder, now to Kinsey. The ex-Minnesota striker. Snyder goes off on the near side, and then Tattoo came out to gain that extra leverage of the bench. But now it's Hoskevy knocking it back. And look at Tattoo working for it, coming back.
That's one of the great things about a great player, is that not only is he a top goal scorer, but he sets an example for his teammates in his ability to really work at either end of the field and put in the sweat equity.
Played into Kinsey with his back to goal, and Lukic knocked it away. Lawson, always dangerous, trying to knock it out, and now Benny Dargle just clears it. You know, I don't recall, still at this point, anyone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe there's been a shot at Sobieski yet by Cleveland. And I know that Cleveland does want to slow it down, but their hopes may be in a low-scoring game. But
there was one scary situation where Doc Lawson played a ball back to Sobieski, where he had to come out and win a race to a ball, and that could have resulted in a goal, but he handled it well and read the situation.
But that's been it. On the left side, it is Dallas on the attack. Kevin Smith playing it up now to Beto. And then on the right side, it's Chinipu. 7:10 to go in the first quarter. Dallas leads it on Dolly's 4th of the year from Kinsey at 6:13. Tattoo, who leads the MISL in almost every offensive category this year, out for Chinipu. Second, Tattoo is an assist, but first in pretty much everything else. Goals, points. Foul is going to be called on Mike Sweeney. On the restart, Kevin Smith knocking to McLeod. Stopped by P.J. Johns, and he deadened that rebound, and a good thing because number 9 was right there.
That's a nice stop because it was a quick shot by Wes McLeod, and it's down low there. A goalkeeper like P.J. Johns, he's got a good 6'3" going there. To get down there that quickly and to not give up a rebound is an excellent play.
Ball is knocked into the crowd, out of play, and there's going to be an official's timeout on the floor. On a goal by Dolly, his 4th of the year from Kinsey at 6:13. Dallas leads it 1-0 over Cleveland. You're watching Cleveland Crunch Soccer here on Sports Channel.
Turn on Sports Channel America any night of the week for exciting sports.
On comes Bullard on a breakaway. Let's shoot, score! Moving into the circle, Simon and Graham for Thomas. He scores!
Nobody delivers the NHL like we do, with more than 100 hard-hitting contests straight through to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Bennett's going to have to hurry.
Keep pace with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame as they challenge top college teams across the nation. Climb into the ring every week with the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour. It's a knockout. Feel the fever of high school sports with the National Federation Game of the Week. Sports Nightly keeps you up to date with the latest scores, highlights, and news before and after every event. Plus, men's and women's college basketball, the Los Angeles and Boston Marathons, pro tennis, English League soccer, international amateur events, and more. Turn on Sports Channel America for exciting sports.
Well, if the Cleveland Crunch are talking things over as they are right now, no doubt they've got to be talking about ways to get into this offensively. They trail 1-0 with 6:34 to go here in the opening quarter of play. We're coming to you from the Reunion Arena in Dallas, Texas, as Johns goes back to his goal. We remind you that Sports Channel Ohio is home of the National Hockey League, and tonight at 8 o'clock, the Minnesota North Stars take on the Edmonton Oilers. NHL action live on Sports Channel Ohio, and that's coming up tonight.
We could see where the Cleveland Crunch don't necessarily want to get into a run-and-gun match here with Dallas in their home Reunion Arena, but you're not going to score if you don't take any shots, and Cleveland has not taken any shots yet.
4-0, the shots on goal. Paul Wright will play it out to Bernie James. Why are they not getting the shots, Ty? Maybe that's the right question.
Well, they've been defending most of the time, and when they've had the ball, they're having difficulty really working it out of the midfield area where they can threaten.
unable to make the good penetrating pass?
Well, Dallas does a fine job, as fine as anyone in the league, of getting back and defending collectively. Everybody gets back, they know their roles, and they close up everything.
It's a good point, because people always remember Tattoo, and we've always talked about them, but they've always had great defensive teams here. Here's Tattoo coming back. The shot is stopped. That was a heavy shot. Loose ball right there in the box, and Johns is right there. But that shows you how dangerous, again, Tattoo can be from any angle, anytime he's got the ball.
And his shot packs a wallop, as you said, and you've got players trying to follow it up. P.J. Johns scrambling and doing well.
Mepham quickly to Paul Wright, trying to reverse it, and Mepham couldn't continue on the run, but he gave Paul Wright a little signal that, hey, my fault.
Not a bad idea, but that's the kind of things that we've been seeing break down for the Cleveland Crunch, and it's the reason they've not been able to penetrate and make shots on goal.
Powers with it. Now, Mepham is not tired because he's still out there, so is it that he doesn't read Paul Wright, or he's thinking too much defensive responsibility?
It really, Mepham probably couldn't have gotten there anyway. I don't know who the Dallas defender was, but Mepham was well covered and didn't feel it was worth it to try and make that sprint because he would have been shut off from the ball anyway.
And then he has that long road back. Here's James. Giving it up to Dev Reeves. He had McLeod and Tattoo trying to sandwich him. Good idea off the boards. Reeves being bothered, though, by Kinsey. Oh, high pressure from Dallas. Tattoo to McLeod. Great save. P.J. Johns. That's a beauty.
That's a fantastic save, because the only way he made it was by reading where the shot was going to go. If he would have waited and then tried to react, there's no way he would have gotten there.
Charlie Green coming back here for the Crunch. Green looking. He has Phillips to his right. Mepham's out there. Bernie James and Michael King. King right now being marked by Doc Lawson. James to Mepham. They try to give it to King, but Lawson had him tied up. Off the board, Sobieski will clear it out. Green keeps it back in, but there's McLeod on the header. 4:15 to go in the opening quarter. Dallas Sidekicks leading over the Cleveland Crunch 1-0, but the Crunch yet to get their first shot on goal. Coming back, Tattoo, 3-on-3. Into the attacking zone, the shot, and another save from P.J. Johns. But again, you could see the heaviness of that shot. He couldn't hold it.
Well, P.J. Johns is going to be shell-shocked if things keep going at this rate. He's not had the type of support out in front of him to be able to get in front of those shots. We've got some great shot blockers on the Cleveland Crunch team, but we don't see them.
Green plays it up, and now it's intercepted. Here's Chinapoo coming back. Green on the tackle. Miss Snyder, though, coming by. Troy Snyder gives it up. Again, it's Chinapoo. Benny Dargle on him. Two MISL vets cut off on that far side, and it is cleared out of play. Kozio getting a touch on that one. So Dallas will be putting it in play as P.J. Johns shouts out some instructions.
Well, he's got no problem today keeping his head in the game. He's got no choice.
Yeah, if he doesn't, he's going to lose it.
He's been continually put under pressure. Here's Tattoo again. He gets around Green. He hammers a shot in there. Johns gets his body behind it, but that one was thumped.
He's had a rough day already, but he's done well. A couple of great saves from point-blank range. The best one was on Wes McLeod. Charlie Green back in his own end. 3:18 to go. Looked for Phillips. Tattoo beat him, but he fouled him. Haskeby wants to put it in play quickly. Player coach of the Crunch. Last night against Wichita was the first time in a few games for Kai coming back and playing a full game, and he said it took him a while to get himself going into the game. He's had that foot injury, and he was injured right here, oddly enough, in Dallas. So he returns to the scene of the crime.
And it also affects his training regimen. You know, he's not quite as fit as he could be had he been playing on a regular basis all alone. So even if you've got an injury that has healed, it doesn't necessarily mean you can go out there and really put in a regular shift for the full 60 minutes.
Has been playing with a sprained right foot. Chinapoo with it. And it is whistled down. It's coming right back. It'll give us a chance to say hello to our Dallas audience, also picking up this game on KDFI television, channel 27 in Dallas-Fort Worth. Hello, everyone. As Haskeby goes to the bench, that's Stuart Jump, a former player who runs things on the bench when Kai is out there, and Billy Phillips, the Dallas Sidekicks coach, former goalkeeper. He won the first game in the history of this Sidekicks franchise, and he was the backup goalkeeper. Remember, they had Van Beverett here, and everyone was talking about him. He was a great outdoor keeper. Struggled with the indoor team, but that first-year team was not one to brag about. They had Tattoo and little else.
But as a coach, Billy Phillips has come right in.
Yeah. Oh, the deflection, maybe not. A screen or a deflection, we'll see who they give it to, but that's a tough one for Cleveland to give up.
Well, it's a tough one for P.J. Johns to give up after all the fine saves he did make. He doesn't look good on that one, but it's not necessarily entirely his fault because there's a lot of traffic right out in front of him. And the shot, not a whole lot of power, but it's a low one, and it gets underneath a few people. P.J. Johns not seeing it, until the last second. So Cleveland digging themselves a little bit more of a hole here. And it goes back to what we're saying. You don't like to call the Dallas Sidekicks, like you were saying, a one-man team. Here's Wes McLeod, who's already tested P.J. Johns once. He's playing a pass in, really, and Dolly creates this diversion by running across the front at the top of the box. He doesn't touch the ball, but it's enough to get P.J. Johns looking in that direction. Then he can't react when Dolly leaves the ball come through.
I think I was giving P.J. maybe the benefit of the doubt, thinking it must have been deflected. But, you know, when you watch that there, it looks like, no, he was definitely screened.
Well, sometimes it's enough. As a goalkeeper, you have to try and read and anticipate the run of the play. And he's reading and anticipating a pass, which it was to Dolly.
That's right.
Then suddenly Dolly leaves it, and it throws P.J. Johns off. He doesn't look good on it, but, you know, those kind of things happen when you're really trying to read the play.
Well, we'll wait for the official score, but that's McLeod's goal from a TV standpoint. Here's a long pass for Tattoo, but Dargle won that one in the air. Settled by Koziel. Now to Benny Dargle coming back. Willie Milano on for his first turn here for Dallas. Sweeney will play it back to Phillips, and now it's Lukic. Lifting it in. Yeah, one play we've not seen, and I know that he's hurt coming into the game, was Marhetic. He has not had a shift yet. Here's Sweeney, and it's blocked. Cleveland in danger, not just of trailing 2-0, but psychologically getting out of the corner without a shot on goal. Tattoo and Phillips bumping each other shoulder to shoulder by midfield. Off the ball.
Sweeney there going after his man as well, so things heating up here as Cleveland reaches for an answer, and if it takes turning this into a bit of a physical war, it looks like they're prepared to do it.
Bernie James knocking it back to Phillips. Well, usually if it's a war, Bernie James gives the message, and it's not Bernie in this case. It was Phillips back there and then Sweeney, but Phillips and Tattoo had a good goal by midfield. Tattoo maybe trying to take advantage of the rookie and do a little intimidating on his own, and Phillips trying to show him that
he's not going to back down, absolutely. And Tattoo, obviously, here's Sweeney stepping straight through Willie Milano and dumping him to the turf. You see Milano does a little bit of retaliation with the kick, tried to catch Sweeney right in the face. So a couple things there that were overlooked by the officials. I mean, things could get crazier than that, but you want to discourage those kind of things before they turn into something worse.
McLeod's goal is 6th of the year from Kevin Smith is the official score at 12:40. 2-0. Dallas leading over Cleveland. Here's Lukic to the outside. Now it's Phillips. Knocked back for Bobo Lukic. Lifting it in, but Chinapu is there to deny it. There, Dallas putting up a nice wall defensively, but also playing well offensively. And look at Chinapu sprint for that Tattoo pass into the corner. A battle for it. James looks for Tattoo. A couple of side steps, and Phillips just leveled Tattoo. How could Kelly Mock not call a penalty?
He wasn't looking. He was looking at something else.
That's in front of him, though.
Felix Fuchsman's across the other side. He might have seen it. He was not looking. I saw his line of sight. He wasn't looking in that. Actually, Bernie James has something to complain about because he was kicked down from behind. You'll see this here. Bernie James is taken down from behind, and here's Phillips bumping Tattoo. Tattoo's down. James is pushing Chinapu, and P.J. Johns is trying to join in the fray.
Phillips got a break. On the right side, Kinsey will clear it out.
Sweeney got a break earlier, too, when he dumped Milano.
So you want to tell me it evens out, right? Look at the shots on goal. Where do they get the 2 shots from? Coming back, right. And now it's Bernie James. Cleveland coming back. Paul Wright. In for Hoskeby, and Powers took him down at the horn. That's it. And Hoskeby saying, what about the elbow?
Well, Hoskeby said, okay, if you want to play that way, that's the way we'll play, because Powers got him pretty good.
Absolutely. Right at the horn. So Cleveland going off, trailing 2-0 at the end of the first quarter in Dallas.
There are people out there who need help, but don't have anyone with the right skills and knowledge to turn to for help with their taxes. You or your organization can be there for someone who needs help. Volunteer your time, and the IRS will volunteer the training to help make someone's taxes less taxing.
Children with cystic fibrosis want to grow up. More than half of them are now living into their 20s, but that's not long enough. It attacks a child's lungs, and there is no cure, so far. But today, the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation is supporting the research that can soon end this disease. The money you give goes immediately to help find a cure. Give a child a chance to grow up. Accept the challenge and support the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation.
Turn on Sports Channel America any night of the week for exciting sports.
On comes Fuller on a breakaway. Let's shoot, score! Moving into the circle, side of that Graham for Thomas. He scores! Tic-tac-toe!
Nobody delivers the NHL like we do, with more than 100 hard-hitting contests straight through to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Bennett's gonna have to hurry.
Keep this with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame as they challenge top college teams across the nation. Climb into the ring every week with the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour. It's a knockout. Feel the fever of high school sports with the National Federation Game of the Week. Sports Nightly keeps you up to date with the latest scores, highlights, and news before and after every event. Plus, men's and women's college basketball, the Los Angeles and Boston Marathons, pro tennis, English League soccer, international amateur events, and more. Turn on Sports Channel America for exciting sports.
Well, it's very early in this one, but so far it's been all Dallas out shooting and outscoring Cleveland 2-0 here as we are approaching the start of the second quarter. Let's switch from the turf here to the court. Sports Channel Ohio's coverage of the American Mid-Continent Universities continues tomorrow at 7:30 when Southwest Missouri State takes on Cleveland State. AMCU basketball, and it's live on Sports Channel Ohio.
Well, for the Cleveland Crunch here, if you can't make it good and you don't want it to get bad, you make it ugly. So the Crunch have been out there really throwing their weight around. There's Phillips, Sean Phillips, just throwing tattoos straight to the ground. He says, well, what do you want? That's great stuff. And a rookie standing right up to the #1 player in the league.
Yeah. I mean, on one side, the Dallas people are saying, hey, show a little more respect. And on the other side, Cleveland said, hey, I like the feistiness.
Well, it's 2-0. You have to start to generate some type of energy because look at this. Look at the energy flow here. The Sidekicks with 10 shots and the Cleveland Crunch with only 2. 6 saves for P.J. Johns, 0 for Sobieski. That tells the whole story.
Right. So the 2 shots were blocked. They never reached goal. Second quarter's underway. One final for you. In Kansas City, the Comets have defeated Baltimore 5-1. That is a final. Later on, Wichita is at St. Louis and San Diego is at Tacoma. 2 players hitting the deck early, Green and Powers. Just at the start of the second quarter, 14:46 to go. Here in Reunion Arena in Dallas, the home also of the NBA's Mavericks. They've got the 1 championship banner up here from 1986-87, a magic year. They were trailing Tacoma in that series and ended up winning it in the 7th game.
This is great stuff here. 2 All-Stars. They'll be seeing each other Wednesday night. Bernie James and Tattoo. They've marked each other and fought each other so many times and really many times in even higher stakes situations than this.
If they're on the same flight today to San Diego, they'll probably mark each other on the plane. Down the left side, Tattoo takes a nudge from James.
A nudge.
Well, that was a nudge.
Here's Smith. That would have sent you about 5 rows down out of the booth there.
Yeah. Here's a long shot, but P.J. Johns is right there to stop Lawson. I wouldn't get that close to let him nudge me like that.
I'll tell you what, it'll be interesting to watch. Tattoo at times does get frustrated. He's had enough of this stuff, and he'll sometimes lose his head, get his head out of the game. He could hurt you worse because he gets hot and starts scoring, but he can also get some penalties if you can kind of lure him into it.
Here's Hoskeby right back. A quick shot, and Sobieski stopped that on James, but a good idea from Hoskeby. Coming back, this is Dolly. He scored the first goal and helped in the second. He can motor. Played back to him by Salgado on for his first chip of the afternoon. Blocked on the wing by Reeves. Now it's Chinapoo settling it for Mike Powers. 13:38 to go. Second quarter. And it's a 2-0 lead here for Dallas. Played on the right side, Salgado off the boards. Kinsey was sneaking in, and it was just touched back in time by King.
We've got a situation here for the Cleveland Crunch that even puts more pressure on Michael King in terms of trying to score some goals and generate some attacks, since he's really the only established scorer that they've got in their line. Is that Pato Marhetic is on the bench and has not appeared yet because he can come forward well. He's a player that can run at a team's defense and try and open things up. Cleveland without his tools.
Here's King. Marhetic, by the way, with a bad toe injury and also a shin injury, so he's been gutting it out the last few games playing in the pain. And they could use him out there today, but he's unable to go. He's got the sweat top on, and just checking it out, I want to see if he was actually, I think he was scratched from the lineup. He's erased.
Yeah, he's a late scratch. Yeah.
They did bring 16 players, probably because of that. Not sure who could go. Played into King, the turnaround, blocked, it's loose. Still loose, and it never reached Sobieski. Sweeney almost going to go with that.
Sweeney and Mepham trying to force something deep from the Sidekicks box there.
Coming back, and a trip by Phillips.
Phillips is going to have to be a little careful because I think they've got his number at this point. They're going to be looking. That one he may have been a little bit fortunate. We didn't have a good look at it because of the boards there, and it appears that he got there a bit late. Troy Snyder coming down the boards, and Phillips does not get the ball. He gets Snyder's ankles, so that could be a 2-minute call.
His dad, of course, Lincoln Phillips, a very famous goalkeeper and coach in the American Soccer League.
Former coach at Howard University in the D.C. area.
Here's Tattoo. Almost beat 2 players. Mepham's experience won out that time. Phillips blocked by Tattoo all the way back to Sweeney, who just leaves it for P.J. Johns. Long toss out for King. They want to try to isolate King one-on-one and open up some of that space, but they've been unable to do it. Tattoo against Phillips. Tattoo, the 28-year-old, looking, returning to his great triumphs of a few years ago when he led the MISL in scoring. Last year he had a fine year for most players, but not a Tattoo-like year. But this year, right on target. Here's McLeod coming through, blocked by Mepham, and that was a dangerous opportunity for Dallas. They had 2 players, Tattoo and Beto, charging the net as that shot took place. There's a look at P.J. Johns. A reminder to bring the entire family to see the Crunch's next home game on February 24th at 8:05. That's when the Crunch meet these same Dallas Sidekicks. So Cleveland fans can see Tattoo in action at the Richfield Coliseum. Great seats are still available. Those are the numbers to call for tickets and information: 349-2090 or 535-5425. And that'll be the first game for Cleveland following the All-Star break. And then look out, they'll hit the road for 4 straight games. And it's always tough to win on the road. There's number 9, Tattoo. Starting out this year with 39 goals, 32 assists for this game, I should say, and 71 points, 4 power plays, 5 game winners. Tattoo off the boards, blocked. Bang there a couple of times. A battle for it with Koziel and now Beto. Tattoo the turnaround, and that one looked good. May have been slightly blocked by Koziel.
He just smells an opening, and he's so quick to take advantage on the full spin, cracking the hard low shot. P.J. Johns reacted very well.
Dev Reeves coming back for Bernie James with 7 goals, beating his previous marks. He's more known for his shot blocking ability, where he's had over 800 blocked shots in his MISL career. Turning it back was Reeves, a slow pass out to James, but he kept it alive to Paul Wright. 11:09 to go in the second quarter. 2-0 Dallas leading it. King with a nice move on Chinapoo, knocking it up, and then it's cleared almost off the scoreboard. Stays in play, and Paul Wright will settle it down. Knocked right back to number 9, Paul Wright, sending it into the corner. Koziel after it. It's deflected, and Sobieski gets it before Michael King can. Plays it to Snyder. And then back again to the feet of Sobieski. Tell you, Sobieski and Sloboievsky age like fine wine. They're both pushing 40 or at 40 years of age and having fine years. Slobo made the All-Star team, and Sobieski, no slouch either, coming into this game with a very fine 3.83 goals against average. Ball played in long, and Bernie James will try to win against 2 players. Nice job back to P.J. Johns. 10:17 left in the second quarter. 2-0 Dallas. Goals by Dolly and McLeod. So far they've kept Tattoo off the scoreboard, but they're losing 2-0.
Tattoo is still such a presence as he's able to keep up the pressure on a team's defense. And the opposition's defense really has to focus so much attention on him and energy that when the other guys get out there, they do have more room and time to work with.
So in effect, even though he may not be on a score sheet, he's always a factor.
Oh, we've seen him. In this game, he certainly has been, despite not being on the score sheet.
Cleveland will put it back into play. Hoskeby got his 350th career assist last night against Wichita. Another milestone for Hoskeby. Bernie James picked up by Kinsey. James to Hoskeby. Tried to reverse it across, couldn't do it, and now Kinsey knocks it back for Sobieski. Sobieski didn't even start to play indoor soccer until he was 31 years old. A late bloomer, a late developer, call it what you want, but he has had a magnificent career indoors.
He was also actually the second keeper to really come out and use his feet a lot, really using as his pattern Sloboievsky, who had revolutionized the position in the MISL. Sobieski took to that immediately and was able to do it just as well as Sloboievsky.
Nice idea from Hoskeby. He had Dargle open. Here's Kai settling. Trying to play it into Dargle, was just behind Benny. Off the boards, he wanted Lukic. Still loose. Green knocked down. He and Lawson go. And now Haskeby.
It's good to see some sustained pressure from the Cleveland Crunch, as it took them so long to really generate anything like it. We've got 2 minutes here.
How about that crunch? Tattoo helps up Dargle. Let's wait and see who that's on. I see
well,
we'll
get a look at it here. Haskeby coming in a little bit late. He piles into Dolly, and then Dargle takes Tattoo down hard. I got a feeling it's Dargle for taking down Tattoo, but we'll have to see what they do call.
On the replay, that's my guess, but there's 3 guys hit the deck. Dolly came away with it.
It looks like it's...
Well, it's an official timeout.
It's Dargle or Haskeby. I don't think it's either the Dallas Sidekicks.
Well, they're going to discuss it. They're going to have an official's timeout now. We'll sort it out for you when we come back to Dallas with the Sidekicks leading over Cleveland 2-0.
Do it now at Spitzer Ford. Lease a brand new 1990 Ranger XLT, very well equipped, for just $169 a month through Ford authorized leasing system. Do it now at Spitzer Ford and lease a brand new 1990 Tempo GL sedan with every major option available for just $199 a month.
And if you have a trade, we want to buy it, and we'll pay you top dollar to get it.
At Spitzer Ford in Mentor and in Cuyahoga Falls.
Welcome back, everyone. The Sidekicks are leading over Cleveland by the score of 2-0. John Paul Della Camera with Ty Keogh. A reminder that you can catch all of the Crunch games on the radio side when we're not televising. On the radio home of the Crunch, 1300 AM WERE with Mike Snyder. Next radio broadcast next Saturday, February 24th, against the Dallas Sidekicks. Kai Haskeby appears to be the one going out, and Cleveland will have to defend with Haskeby sitting out, but Cleveland has, to their credit, the top-rated penalty-killing unit in the MISL.
And we'll see why Haskeby's headed into the box. It's because he really had no chance at this ball, and despite that, he piled in from behind on Dolly. So he's in the box for 2 minutes, not playing the ball.
So Haskeby is in the box for a couple. Dallas 7 in power play opportunities. Tattoo just missing on that far side.
And just missing Kinsey at the far post.
Chinapoo. Rebound. Beto scores. Watch out for the Beto shuffle. Well, I correct myself. Dallas, I said, was 7th in power plays. They're actually 8th, but if they get them that quickly, they'll be 7th and maybe 6th pretty soon.
They certainly made quick work of it there. Applying the pressure, working the ball wide. P.J. Johns was going the other way on that particular shot. Again, it's tough to ask a guy to come up with save after save. The hard shot from the corner just wide, and it comes straight out to Beto, and it came out so quickly that the Cleveland defense had no time to readjust. Beto puts it down low and hard to the opposite side. We'll see it again. This ball is a shot. It's hammered hard, and it just comes straight to Beto's foot. There's not a whole lot you can do, and there's not time enough to react, and P.J. Johns has no chance for that one.
It looks like when you're watching it that guys are just, there's the shuffle we talked about. He perfected that here in Dallas, but he started it in Los Angeles as a member of the Lasers. Thanks, guys. So at least the people at home knew what I was talking about when I said the Beto shuffle. Here's Willie Milano, who also started his indoor career in Los Angeles. Up for Chinapoo. Defending is Mepham. It's 3-0 now in favor of Dallas. Mepham spinning. Looking for some help. Knocks it across to the right side. It's Bernie James. That last goal was a power play goal from Beto to give Dallas that 3-0 lead. And now it's back for James. Mepham going up against Beto. 7:55 to go here in the second quarter. A reminder, coming up at halftime, Ty had a pregame chat with Benny Dargle and Dev Reeves. So not really a look at the old and the young so much as the veteran and the new player for the Cleveland Crunch. Can't call Benny Dargle old. He's only 32 years old, but he represents the veteran part of the Crunch, and Dev Reeves, one of the bright newcomers. Coming back now is Dolly. Coming through. Knocking it off the boards, and Johns is right there. Coming back on the right side. Reeves. Looking. Knocked back for Charlie Green. Green, a very versatile player, can play at the back or in midfield. And actually, when he first started out, he was one of the fastest forwards in the MISL.
He's still got that quickness.
Not wearing that brace. Remember what, last week he had the brace, and it seemed to really slow him down somewhat. So instead of running maybe 70 miles an hour, he's running 60. Here's King. turning on the left foot. Almost lost by Sobieski. That one did handcuff him. That was probably the best shot of the day for Cleveland. They had no shots. They had 2 shots in the first quarter, but none reached Sobieski. They were blocked by Dallas defenders.
Well, King has 30 goals already this year. We're just about at the halfway point, and many of them have come on similar plays where he's able to, on the turn, still get a lot behind the ball and hit it to the opposite side. That one didn't go far enough to the opposite corner, and Sobieski was able to cover it.
Cleveland net has a vacancy sign on it as Johns had vacated. Right side, Hoskevy. Pulled it back. Now looks long for Green over the shoulder. Or Koziel. It's going to be Koziel, the rookie, knocking it back out for Benny Dargle with 6:10 to go here in the second. Off the boards, Hoskevy looking, wanting to leave it, attempted to leave it for Dargle, and they sort of misread one another. Here comes Tattoo. Here's a break. Running into space was Dolly. Didn't get a great ball. Otherwise, he would have been going in full speed ahead on Johns. Here's Dolly knocking it back for Smith. Against Phillips. Good job by the rookie Phillips to knock it away.
A lot of spirit in the young man Phillips there. A lot of experience in Kevin Smith. So you talk about Tattoo being so important to this team. Kevin Smith's the man feeding the ball into him almost constantly and supporting him.
Here's Tattoo against Phillips and Green. Tattoo holding it top of the arc. Right-footed shot is blocked. Right out to Dolly. Blocked by Charlie Green and picked off.
We watched 2 times their first Tattoo, and then Dolly working the defender, just trying to get that angle for a shot, just enough space to try and work a shot in there. And it's a real art form to try and get that defender just to move slightly and then maybe even use him as a screen as you take the shot.
Sweeney up for Lukic. He tried to swing it ahead to Hoskevy, and it was behind him. Hoskevy will intercept the bad pass there from Dolly. Here's Kai trying to get around Powers, who got a piece of him. Played in for Sweeney off the boards. It's loose and picked up by Sobieski. Everybody getting a piece of Hoskevy. Powers twice now today. Here's Tattoo by Phillips. Phillips with a bad tackle from behind. And that's a penalty. Yeah. Kelly Mock had that one.
Anytime that you tackle from behind, it's a high likelihood that it's going to be a foul or even a 2-minute penalty. When you do it that aggressively, you're going to expect to go to the boxes. He's not really got a chance to come in all the way from behind without doing a potentially make an injury on the player that's carrying the ball.
Well, Sean Phillips will get a chance to cool off a bit here with 4:45 to go in the second quarter. Dallas will have their second straight power play here in the second. You're watching Cleveland Crunch Soccer on Sports Channel Ohio.
Wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say.
The power of teaching.
The world won't get no better if we're just
The power to wake up young minds. The power to wake up the world. Teachers have that power. Reach for the power. Teach. I'm Edward James Olmos, and we're recruiting new teachers. Call 1-800.
Here's the last foul for which Sean Phillips gets the 2-minute call, and he's tackling directly from behind. He comes in very hard, takes Tattoo out, the 2-minute penalty, and it's really because he tackled from behind, and it's also because it's almost like you're looking for him. He'd been playing very aggressively and shoving a lot of people around and gotten off the hook a little bit, and it was just a matter of time before they were going to get him for one of those.
Beto sliding it across. Dallas scored on their first power play. Seconds into it on Beto's goal. Here's Cleveland shorthanded. They'll have Michael King up front with James. We look at the power plays for today in the season. Dallas last in power plays and last in penalty killing as well. Here's Chinapoo from Kevin Smith. This is a good-looking power play unit when you look at these 5. Here's Smith. He looked far post for Kinsey, but missed him. Chinapoo for Steve Kinsey. Bump by James, back to the left point.
The Sidekicks are also missing Mark Karpman, who sometimes has been a part of this power play. Willie Milano sometimes appears on this, so they've got some options.
A foul from Chinipu, but it's blocked by Johns. They really miss Carpet, not so much in the power play, but at that far post. I was going to mention him, too, that he's out with a sprained knee. In fact, there's a guy that doesn't miss many games.
He's sitting behind us, in fact, doing some radio work locally here for Dallas. He's got the big brace on the knee, so it doesn't look real good, but hopefully he'll be back soon.
And if we don't mention him, he's close enough to wax.
with the knee brace.
That's right. To Chinipu. Right back now, Kevin Smith. On the man advantage, Dallas. Chinipu, a big blast, and it was blocked before it got there by Dargo. Tattoo, score! From a difficult angle, it's 4-0 Dallas. I don't know about you, but I want to see this again.
All I can say is, wow.
Yeah, I want to see that
How
again.
do you score a goal like that from that angle? And the thing that had some spin on it, too. I mean, he struck it well, but it's tough to be able to beat a keeper like P.J. Johns from there. Tattoo just hit it well. Johns slightly screened, and Johns really overworked today. Tattoo launching his shirt into the crowd. Here's Beto. He works it out wide to Tattoo, and Tattoo just lines it up and cracks it. It's a scorcher. It's got that spin on it, and the spin is what helps it carry on underneath the crossbar after it clipped the underside of the crossbar. We get another angle here. Beto, nice job. He puts the ball out in the space for Tattoo to run onto, and he just gets so much power and spin on it that it's able to beat P.J. Johns and carry on under the crossbar.
So there's Tattoo. He'll need another shirt before he can go out there. 4-0. The Dallas Sidekicks are leading it on Tattoo's power play goal from Beto. And for Tattoo, goal number 40 on the year. Bernie James now leaving it off for Dev Reeves. Looking long, Sobieski. And Bernie James got him with his shoulder.
It's all part of the game. James just trying to follow his way through there. He's not going to quit on the ball. He's not exactly looking to hammer Sobieski, but he's just going to hold his own ground.
James, one of those two, playing despite an injury. His ankle, he's had a problem with it. He said he's about 70% for today, which, if you can believe it, is better than it was against San Diego.
Well, he said it's feeling better all the time. Against San Diego last week, it was very evident sometimes on the turn that he was having trouble. We've not seen that tonight.
Long pass, they wanted, lost. Look how far up the dock was playing. Coming back. James and Lawson, two veterans, and Lawson gets called for that foul.
Two guys that used to play together in the same backfield for the U.S. Olympic team back in 1980. They used to tussle like that in practice. Now it's for real.
Paul Wright going long. Looking. Milano was there with Koziel, and they've got Koziel on a foul.
You've got Bernie James, who's out of Seattle, Washington, and Doc Lawson, who's from New York City. They came together firstly with the U.S. team. Now have played many years against each other in the MISL.
4-0. Dallas with the lead. We talked before about injuries, and Cleveland may not use them as an excuse, but I'll tell you, they're missing a lot. Marinaro is out. He's been a major plus, their second leading scorer, but then they also have Marhetic sitting on the bench with injuries, so they miss his firepower. He has 4 power play goals this year alone against Dallas. 4 power play goals in total, and 4 all against these Dallas Sidekicks. But another guy they really miss is Coulsdom at the back. He's got speed, the fastest guy really with skill at the back, and I think they missed that with the outlet pass.
Well, that's what I was going to say, because he's a versatile player. He's the kind of player that can turn a bad situation, turn it right around and make an advantage, because he's got some savvy, he's got some craftiness about him, and he can come forward well. And a young talent in the league that you'd like to see continue to develop and have a chance to, but he's had those injury problems.
And because he plays so reckless, and I say that really in a positive way, they don't want to bring him out because he's got a groin injury and he could really tear something. If he played with maybe a little more pace and all that, they might take a chance.
But it's difficult to ask a 21-year-old guy to hold back.
That's right, absolutely. From what I can remember when I was 21. Here's Lukic against Beto, and now Kevin Smith to Tattoo, who scored his 40th a couple of moments ago. He'll backheel it off for Kevin Smith. 4-0, Dallas leading it. They have had the best record at home in the MISL, coming into the game at 13-3. Off the boards for Tattoo. Phillips marking him. Tattoo got by, and then Johns cut it off. Another one. Blocked. Here's a deflection. Kevin Smith blocked by Sean Phillips. Nice play by the rookie.
Phillips saved a goal. Johns was scrambling to the opposite side. The ball was cut back and would have gone into that near post.
Coming back. Here's Wright. Across. Not a good pass. Beto. Phillips has a job to do. He knows this one may head for Tattoo eventually, but Beto shoots instead on the block. Tattoo will pick it up off the Lukic block. Knocked in to Beto. Couple of blocks. There's Dargo.
Hard tackle by Dargle. He really stood him up well. The Tattoo, some excellent footwork initially to work himself free and then play that ball in to try and get it on the return pass.
Charlie Green with it. You know, if you're looking for the bright spot or the silver lining in the dark cloud, Phillips is going to get a lot of playing time today, and that's going to be good. He came obviously to play. He's had some problems, maybe a little too aggressive at times, but he's going to get some playing time, and that's good right now.
Well, he's got to learn some patience as well. There's a time and a place to maybe come in with hard tackles and some physical intimidation, and then other times you have to learn how to maybe just contain.
Snyder. Okay, that's an awesome responsibility in a game where you're getting your most playing time to see number 9, Tattoo, going against you. Kinsey with it. Snyder was knocked down. Here's Powers with 5 seconds left. On the give and go, Haskeby had Powers. Here's Milano. That goes way upstairs. Some of the fans here signaling that field goal attempt was good. P.J. Johns has to be the most frustrated out of everyone because there was not a whole heck of a lot he could do on some of those. That last shot by Tattoo, most people would say, how could he score at that angle? But you got to remember, it was Tattoo, and probably no one else could have scored it there. Forget about who was in goal. That shot, it wouldn't have mattered. 4-0. Dallas with a big edge as the two teams go to their respective dressing rooms at the half.
You have something we want. You have something we want. You have something we want.
We want your car or truck, and we'll pay you a lot of money for it. Whether you want to trade it in or sell it to us outright, we'll give you cash right on the spot. Good used cars and trucks are in short supply, and we want as many as we can get. Sure, I still want to sell you a car, but right now, I'd like you to sell me one. Whatever you're driving, I want to buy your car now at your Spitzer Auto Store.
Dad, I got in. I got accepted to Ohio State Medical School.
What?
That's true.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Hey, have you told Mom?
No, I didn't tell Mom. I wanted to tell you first.
Mm-hmm.
Dad, I didn't get a scholarship.
Really?
And I know we didn't plan on all this.
I made plans, Doctor.
All the things that make you different make us a different bank.
Sports Channel America presents the hot shots of the collegiate circuit. Feel the power and excitement of men's college basketball. Our coverage includes the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, the Running Rebels of UNLV, the Atlantic 10 Conference Game of the Week, appearances by UCLA, defending national champs Michigan, and more. College Hoops sizzle on Sports Channel America. Take your best shot with the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour. It's a knockout. Mondays at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Only on Sports Channel America.
She just doesn't do the things she used to. I know her eyes are getting worse. She's having trouble getting around. She's scared. I'm scared.
Increasing numbers of Cleveland's senior citizens suffer the loss of part or even all of their vision due to disorders like cataracts, macular degeneration, and glaucoma. The Cleveland Society for the Blind offers services to bring out the best in every senior citizen. Call us at 791-8118.
Well, the Dallas Sidekicks have had things their way. They've worked hard here in the opening half of play, defeating the Cleveland Crunch up to this point at halftime by the score of 4-0. You know, prior to the start of today's game, Ty Keogh had a chance to talk to some more Cleveland Crunch players, and one of those players he wanted to talk to was one of the key veterans on this team, Benny Dargle. Here is the way that interview went.
I know some guys don't like to hear that, but you've certainly been through it all, and you've been a defender all along. And just like your thoughts about the development of the game. In other words, how much has it changed from when you first came into the MISL?
Well, I don't know if it's really changed that much. I guess when you're playing in the game, you don't really notice changes, but I do know that I talked to Dale Colsdom, who played for our team now, new guy from Holland, and he said he watched an old tape of when we played Minnesota 3 years ago, and he said the pace was slower then and a little bit different, and said the pace seemed to have picked up. But I guess when you're playing, you're too busy running around trying to catch the other guy. You don't really think about how the game's changed at all, really.
Now, you've put down some real roots in the Cleveland area, in northern Ohio. You played those great years with the Cleveland team several years back. You're back in town with a new team. You waited around a year, in fact, to make sure that you could play in Cleveland again.
Yeah, it worked out really well. When the force folded, I had a chance to go to a couple other teams, and I talked it over with my family and decided we were going to stay in Cleveland, not knowing for certain if the new team was going to come back, and fortunately it did, and I'm glad to be playing again in Cleveland.
And you're playing in Cleveland, and you're playing against your former teammate, Kai Hoskevy, who set so many records with the Cleveland Force. And it's got to be a new experience to have the guy that was your line mate and maybe your roommate on the road and everything. Now he's the head man.
Yeah, I think he's handled it pretty well. I mean, it's very difficult to be a player coach, I think, in any sport, and to have to tell the guys, well, you've done this, you have to do that, and but he's done it quite well, quite diplomatically. Unfortunately for us and for Kai, we're not exactly tearing up the league, so that makes it a lot easier in a coach in any sport when you're winning. So I think he's handled the losses quite well and done well with the victories.
Well, we're right up to the All-Star break, and the Cleveland Crunch, an expansion team, despite having many experienced players like yourself. Kai Hoskevy is maybe going to have to search for some new answers going down the stretch here.
Well, I think the way Kai looks at it is that he wants to be a winner. He doesn't want to just finish 500. He wants to get into the playoffs. He wants to do well in the playoffs, and he knows that. If you pardon the pun, this is crunch time, whatever you want to call it, but this is the time where you have to put your playoff drive. So I think he's looking to get the best possible team down the stretch.
What do you feel your role is in the team in trying to create that type of environment?
I think maybe personally, I guess, because we have so many young guys, I guess leadership obviously is there, but I think maybe, I think Kai wants me to be a little bit more vocal to try to help out defensively, and not just myself, but other defenders and P.J. John say, well, let's try to eliminate the mistakes before they happen. Try to be more vocal, communicate more, and use our experience that way.
All right, Benny, sounds good. We thank you very much for joining us here at halftime.
Dallas leading at 4-0. This is the second time this year that they have led by as many as 4 goals. The last time way back on opening night, October 28th, they beat San Diego here 9-3. More on halftime coming up from Dallas.
You have something we want. You have something we want. You have something we want.
We want your car or truck, and we'll pay you a lot of money for it. Whether you want to trade it in or sell it to us outright, we'll give you cash right on the spot. Good used cars and trucks are in short supply, and we want as many as we can get. Sure, I still want to sell you a car, but right now, I'd like you to sell me one. Whatever you're driving, I want to buy your car now at your Spitzer Auto Store.
Dad, I got in. I got accepted to Ohio State Medical School.
What?
That's true.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Hey, have you told Mom?
No, I didn't tell Mom. I wanted to tell you first. Dad, I didn't get a scholarship.
Really?
And I know we didn't plan on all this.
I've made plans, Doctor.
All the things that make you different make us a different bank.
Sports Channel America presents the hot shots of the collegiate circuit. Feel the power and excitement of men's college basketball. Our coverage includes the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, the Running Rebels of UNLV, the Atlantic 10 Conference Game of the Week, appearances by UCLA, defending national champs Michigan, and more. College hoops sizzle on Sports Channel America. Take your best shot with the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour. It's a knockout. Mondays at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Only on Sports Channel America.
She just doesn't do the things she used to. I know her eyes are getting worse. She's having trouble getting around. She's scared. I'm scared.
Increasing numbers of Cleveland's senior citizens suffer the loss of part or even all of their vision due to disorders like cataracts, macular degeneration, and glaucoma. The Cleveland Society for the Blind offers services to bring out the best in every senior citizen. Call us at 791-8118.
Here's a little sidekick watching today's action, but he's not really so much concerned about the 4-0 lead that the sidekicks have. He wants to watch the interview that we're going to show you next between Ty Keogh and rookie Dev Reeves. That is coming up. The 22-year-old Dev Reeves in his first season with the Crunch, and Ty had a chance to talk to him prior to the game.
Dev, you're a rookie with the Cleveland Crunch. You're new to professional soccer, but you've been getting a lot of playing time as of late. Cleveland Crunch having injury problems, everything else, you're really getting a shot at it.
Yeah, I have. I've been pretty lucky, as a rookie coming in there and getting as much playing time as I have, and hopefully it'll continue.
You've got some guys in the back there that have been in the league for many years. They got to be helping you along.
Oh, yeah, I can't say enough for Bernie James and Dennis Meppin and all those guys. They've helped me tremendously throughout the first part of the year. They stay after practice with me and work on things with me, and I owe a lot to those guys.
You had a great career with Quincy College, playing collegiately, really made a name for yourself, were able to break into the pro ranks, something I'm sure you dreamed about all along. What is the big transition for you, really coming from having been an outstanding college player to now move into the pro ranks?
I think for me, mentally, staying in the soccer game for the full game has been tough. Mentally, you got to stay prepared. In college, you seem like you could drift off once in a while for a few minutes, but here in the indoor league, you can't afford to do it.
Well, you've seen enough of the league, and you've played against quite a few of the teams and some of the great established players in the league, and you've got to start to be learning about which are the ones that really are the ones to look out for.
Yeah, well, today you're going to see a great player in tattoo, and he's been the toughest I've faced so far, He's such a great player, and he uses the boards so well with his little body. He's a tough guy to control.
How important do you think it is for a first-year player in the league to really get in and get some real playing time against the tougher teams in the league?
I think it's very important. You can only learn so much, from sitting and watching the game. You can sit and pick out different things, but until you're really thrown into a game situation, that's when you learn the most.
So you've been playing more, and you've taken on a certain role in the team. They've relied on you because of the injuries, but I think perhaps Kai Hoskevy's got other ideas, wants you to develop in your role with the team.
Yeah, I think Kai's looking for me to go a little bit forward more. First half of the season, I've been playing more defensively, but I think now in the second half, he wants me to go forward and get into the attack a little bit more. So I'm going to try to get up there a little bit more today.
Is it a real gradual process each and every game that you go out there? Do you feel a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like going to school. You learn something every day, and every game's a big test for me to see what I can do. So yeah, it is.
Well, it's great to see a young guy come into the league. You've had a great college career, as I said, at Quincy College in my part of the country, so I like to see that. And just keep on doing it. We hope you get the great experience and become a great player in this league. Thank you very much, Dev Reeves.
Thanks, Tom.
A look at Dev Reeves, a rookie on the Cleveland Crunch. Crunch not doing so well at the end of the first half. The Sidekicks are all over them, 4-0. We'll look at highlights when we come back.
Do it now at Spitzer Ford. Lease a brand new 1990 Ranger XLT, very well equipped for just $169 a month through Ford authorized leasing system. Do it now at Spitzer Ford and lease a brand new 1990 Tempo GL sedan with every major option available for just $199 a month.
And if you have a trade, we want to buy it, and we'll pay you top dollar to get it.
At Spitzer Ford in Mentor and in Cuyahoga Falls.
You've got my old route.
Probably not many houses back then.
Business looks good. What you gonna do with all your money?
I put in the bank.
Which one?
Society.
Me too. Good bank for us businessmen. Let me see one of those papers.
Let me see 35 cents.
All the things that make you different make us a different bank.
Wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say.
The power of teaching.
The world won't get no better if we're just
The power to wake up young minds. The power to wake up the world. Teachers have that power. Reach for the power. Teach. I'm Edward James Olmos, and we're recruiting new teachers. Call 1-800-45-TEACH.
Welcome back, everyone, to Dallas, Texas, here at Reunion Arena. At the end of the first half of play, the Dallas Sidekicks are leading the Cleveland Crunch. Your score after 2 quarters of play is 4-0, and Dallas has struck fast They struck early, and they ended up with 2 power play goals against the best defensive team, penalty-killing-wise, in the MISL, the Cleveland Crunch. And Ty, as badly as some of the things have happened for Cleveland, as badly as some of the things are that they've done, Dallas has played great.
Dallas has played very well, and really trademark game for Dallas, particularly at home. They've come out and they've worked hard. A lot of team defense frustrated the Cleveland Crunch, not allowed the Cleveland Crunch to get a rhythm. Tattoo's always a danger, but again, the power play has really been the telling thing in this game.
Well, Dallas got off to a quick start, a 2-0 lead very early before those power plays. We're going to take you to all those goals.
The first one here was the great overlapping run. First of all, Tattoo comes out wide to Chinapoo, and you'll see Dolly come out from behind Chinapoo. Call for the ball. He's got some space to operate in. He works the ball off the boards. Kinsey does nice work to hold his position, puts it back out in front to Dolly, and he just puts it away down to the far side. P.J. Johns not able to get down low in time.
So Dallas on the Dolly goal, and here they come again for another one.
This goal here was really unfortunate. Wes McLeod's just really trying to play a pass in front to Dolly. Dolly lets it run. It was just enough of a diversion to fool P.J. Johns, and the ball just carried on into the net, and you can see the frustration by P.J. Johns.
Right after that, Hoskevy goes to the box for a penalty, and then the power play came on, and Dallas has really struggled there. Not so today.
Well, this time Chinapoo with a big, heavy shot that just goes barely wide. It takes P.J. Johns over to that side of the goal. Beto puts the ball on the rebound straight past Johns, just as Johns was trying to get set again. He didn't have time after that first shot from Chinapoo.
A little dance from Beto. It's 3-0, and then with Sean Phillips in the box, we're going to see a great goal from a difficult angle from Tattoo, and he's probably the only guy in the league, or one of the few, I should say. Maybe Segoda's another that could score from this kind of an angle.
Well, this is some confidence demonstrated. First, the shot is blocked by James. It comes out to Beto. He corrals it well, works it wide, and it allows Tattoo to really step through the ball, and he cracks it with some top spin on it. The spin helps it carry on. It's a bad angle, but he hits it so hard, and that spin helps it carry on into the net.
So what the Cleveland Crunch are looking at is a 4-0 deficit, getting ready to start the next half of play. What can Kai do to rally the troops? What can he talk about?
Well, they're going to have to continue to try and play aggressively. In other words, stop the Dallas Sidekicks from getting any rhythm, maybe keeping the possession and slowing the game down. The Cleveland Crunch are going to need to have the pace of this game pick up, and that's really in contrast to what they initially set out to do at the start of the game.
Well, statistically, the team is not doing as badly as they were at the start. Remember in the very beginning, they only had the 2 shots in the first quarter. At one point, they were out shooting Dallas 6-4 in that second.
Well, they had some very good chances, and were a little bit unlucky. They were right in there, but it just hasn't worked out for them. Meanwhile, Dallas' strong team defense has taken the play the other way.
So Cleveland is trailing here by the score of 4-0 as we get ready to start the second half of play. John Paul Della Camera along with Ty Keel. The Crunch are back out on the field, and so are the Dallas Sidekicks, and we should be ready for second half soccer. And on the opposite side, what we're going to see, Ty, is a change in goal, and that's one of the things that we could have speculated on if we had a little more time, maybe.
Well, I think so. P.J. Johns,
just to change it.
P.J. Johns, well, he already put in a full day's work in just the first 2 quarters, if you look at the shooting statistics and the amount of pressure that he was under. So really an obvious move for Kai Hoskevy to put in Otto Orff and see if we can't get a changed look for the Cleveland Crunch.
And that doesn't always mean when you see a goalkeeper change that a coach is blaming a goalkeeper. Lots of times that has nothing to do with it. They say, hey, the team's not responding to this goalkeeper. They're not helping him. Let's make a change. And I'll tell you what, I've seen it pay off in a lot of cases. Can't hurt. Here's Sweeney as the second half is underway. Let's see what the Crunch can do at the start here. First 5 minutes of this could be very important. Cleveland's got to get themselves in and get a goal fairly early, one would think, as Sweeney knocks it to King, but he knocks that one way upstairs. That has people scurrying, actually. That'll give me a chance to tell you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of Summit Soccer Associates Incorporated and is intended for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or the use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Summit Soccer Associates Incorporated and Sports Channel Ohio is prohibited. Chris Sobieski, part of the excellent goaltending tandem that the Sidekicks have. He and Joe Papaleo have teamed here for the past couple of years. Powers will give it back to Sobieski. Lukic is on for Cleveland, along with Michael King. Dev Reeves is out there, Mike Sweeney, Bernie James. Here's Michael King coming back. A 32-goal year, 10 goals in his last 5 games. Off the boards, Dev Reeves working hard. Trying to get around Lawson. Lawson knocked him down, and a foul is going to be called on Lawson. Good perseverance, though, by Dev Reeves staying with that.
Reeves, the defender, coming forward, trying to make some impact. Did some nice work in the corner there. Had to fight off Doc Lawson and eventually drew the foul.
Mike Sweeney with it from the far side. Same two teams meet next Saturday at the Richfield Coliseum. Here's Sweeney out to Lukic on the touch to Michael King. King playing it in. Looking for Sweeney. Dolly with a block, and now Snyder clears it out, but Lukic is back in a hurry. Winning it to Michael King.
Well, we're seeing one of the very few times this game that Cleveland has been able to keep a sustained pressure on the Dallas defense.
Little ball control here for Cleveland. Michael King with a flip, but Lawson cut off. Sobieski just barely beat Bernie James to that. Left side, this is Dolly coming back. James hustling to get back. Powers, and now Snyder knock it back to Doc Lawson, who tells everyone to just settle down. Dallas 9-3 when they lead at the half. A very well-disciplined team. A lot of veterans on this team, and the main thing is that there's good chemistry. These guys have played together now for quite a few years.
That really helps, and it helps in these kind of situations where you have to hang tough. You don't want to overextend yourself. You have to know just about how much maybe to slow it down, just about how much when to pick it up, and that's something that's a very delicate thing, and teams that haven't played together a great deal have a lot of difficulty doing that.
And the nucleus really starts at the back with the goalkeepers, the defenders, and then up top you've got Tattoo. And now, I mean, even guys like Milano and Beto, they've played around with this team for a while. If Carpenter were in here, he'd be in the same situation. Chinapoo's now in his second year with this team. Kevin Smith has played in more games than anyone. So it's a veteran team, and they've done very well. They're in first place in the West.
And they're so comfortable here in this building.
Played up now to James. He tried to knock it, and it goes out of play. Told you, if these two teams meet next week in Richfield, Ohio, as we look at the leading scorers in the league. Tattoo with a big edge in points over Goosens. Goosens leads in assists, but King is right up there, 4th, and Marinaro is 5th. King up there in quite a few statistical categories. Chinapoo with it, knocking it back, now to Wes McLeod. Again, it's Richard Chinapoo. Looking for Tattoo as Bernie James is with him. Tattoo bouncing free from those boards. Wes McLeod. 4-0. Dallas leading it. They've scored twice on power plays, which is unusual that they're 2 for 2 because they're last in the league in the power play department, and unusual because the Crunch are the best penalty killing team in the MISL, and they have been for quite some time. That ball went out of play and then came back in. There is an official's timeout on the floor. 12:42 remaining. Billy Phillips happy right now because Dallas is doing things right. They lead it 4-0.
Joust believes to each according to his needs, from each according to his...
that sounds a little like Karl Marx. But
oh, just a touch. Is that real zebra skin? No, this.
I'll tell you right after. Okay. Tell you exactly where I got it from. It's a tremendous story.
Hey, all the slobs aren't quarterbacks. There are some slob reporters, too.
If you'll excuse me, fellas, I have to blow my nose.
Yeah, blow your nose. See if you hit him right between the eyes and see if that doesn't...
Dennis Rodman smiles through... He smiles when some guy kicks him in the groin.
We're going to earn our money here, huh?
Welcome back, everyone, to Dallas. It's a 4-0 lead. The Dallas Sidekicks are leading over the Cleveland Crunch. We welcome our Sports Channel Ohio audience, as well as our audience here locally in Dallas on KDFI TV 27 in Dallas-Fort Worth. John Paul Della Camera with Ty Keogh. Ty, the Crunch have come out better here in the second half. No scoring chances per se, but they've protected the ball a lot better and not let Dallas go the other way in Otto Orff.
Well, they've also been a bit more enterprising in that getting more players forward and trying to make something in the Dallas end of the field.
McLeod knocking it back. Kinsey going long for Tattoo, chesting it down. Sent back now to Otto Orff, who comes into this game with a 4.53 average. He's 3-8. Kai Hoskeby likes the footwork of Otto Orff as Wright is dumped by McLeod. Coming back on the right side. Dargle knocked away. Sent all the way back by Olabi. By quarters, Dallas has scored in the first couple. Cleveland right now being shut out. Dennis Mepham. Again, it's Paul Wright. Up top, Phillips knocking it all the way back, and now Otto Orff into the neutral zone.
Maybe there on that ball, it's time to take a chance. You knock the ball back and you really haven't gained anything. You're down by 4 goals. You got to try and work something, hold that ball in the Dallas zone, maybe try and turn, maybe try and feed it off to somebody.
Kinsey knocking it back to Milano. Milano getting some encouragement from Sobieski, but that's not what Sobieski wanted. The interception by Mepham. He'll come right back. Mepham on the right foot with a push to Dargle. The blast blocked out by McLeod. Should be a corner kick from that opposite side. McLeod leads the MISL in block shots.
He's feeling that one, though. That one, I think, took a little more out of him than some of the other ones he's blocked this year. You'll see, because Dargle winds up real strong, and it's straight into McLeod. He tried to protect himself, but he took that one pretty hard.
There's a look at Wes McLeod. He wears these white tassels on his socks for good luck. He's always worn those. There they are.
The trademark for Wes McLeod. Another guy, when you really look at the total team experience of Dallas Sidekicks, not just in Dallas, but going back even to outdoor soccer in the earlier years of this league, you've got a lot of guys that are 10-year professionals out there for Dallas.
Green gives it up to King, and it's deflected. Looked like Powers got a piece of that. Coming back, it's Bernie James. All the way back now to Michael King. Looking long. King already this year with 4 hat tricks. And has not only had a great year, but since January, he's really been on fire. He scored goals in 10 out of his last 15. Here comes Kinsey. Giving it up on the right for Lawson. Lawson's blast block. He may get it back. Reeves steps in front and knocks it back to Bernie James. James taking it forward for Dev Reeves. Going long for King. Beto after him. On that far side, lifted right back towards Sobieski, into the air to catch it, and he lands pretty hard as Michael King gets called in the push. There's a look at Sobieski.
Sobieski not real pleased with that little bump he took from Michael King. He was going up just for the ball. King backed into him.
And the veteran goalkeeper getting challenged now by Charlie Green. Sending it long. Beto was tied up by Kozio. And now it's Bernie James. Bringing it back towards goal. Pushing it right side to Phillips. And now it's Otto Orff, the 26-year-old who was born in Buffalo, New York. Came on in relief of P.J. Johns. Johns, I think you put it best. He basically probably felt like he played a full game, even though he was out there only for one half of the game. Final tallies on P.J. Got to give him 11 saves in the game, but there were 23 Dallas shots, and a lot of them from point-blank range, especially in that first quarter when Cleveland got out of the starting gate very slowly. Played up now to Michael King, and all over him and holding his Chinapoo. So the foul goes against Dallas. Green will put it in play. Fakes to the left. Now gives it out. Phillips off his left foot, and that one goes upstairs. So the Sidekicks will get it. I look at number 4, Sean Phillips from Port of Spain. There are the shots on goal. 23-9, although Cleveland has a slight edge here in the second half of play here in the third quarter with 10:04 to go. Shots on goal can be misleading. It's really, they'll tell you this in indoor soccer, they'll tell you this in hockey. It's where the shots come from. If you took 50 shots, but they all come from beyond the red line or along the boards, that's not much. But in this case, those stats are accurate. Those were good shots from Dallas. Lukic, his team down 4-0. Provo giving it up now to Hoskovy. Kai off a left footer. That's a pass to Reeves. Picked up by Kevin Smith. Look at the defensive intensity on the part of Smith watching that ball. Right side, Dargo slapping it off Chinapoo. Dargo making another whack at it for Hoskovy. Dargo. Otto Orff calling for it if they need some help back there, but it's broken up and a foul was called. Quickly it's put into play to Hoskovy. Back out to Lukic. They're working that ball around, but again, only 2 shots in this half. Here comes Tattoo. Turning the corner. Picking up the speed. Sweeney trying to catch him off the boards. He's passing, and Lukic deadens it for Otto Orff, but Tattoo turned that up a level, didn't he?
Well, nice recovery by Sweeney and Lukic because Tattoo was accelerating on the turn as he went. He looked like an airplane going down the runway, just picking up speed the whole way.
And it's a good thing they did because they don't want to give him the middle of the field where he has a lot more options. Keep him to that far side, and if he outraces you, you got to hope that Otto Orff can block the angle.
Or he could be forced to use the boards as he did there, but Tattoo, you didn't see that last year in the league, this kind of getaway speed. You see him just making the ground. It's Sweeney who has a little bit better angle on him, who finally comes and puts enough pressure on him to force him to use the boards. But Lukic didn't quit on the play either. Was able to cover up that dangerous area right out in front of Otto Orff.
72 points coming into the game. He leads the MISL. He's already tossed 1 jersey into the stands. but do you think the fans are satisfied with that? They'd like to see a few more coming up, because that'll mean that Dallas is scoring goals. That's his trademark. Toss the jersey into the crowd.
As you said, we're seeing better possession by the Cleveland Crunch, but they still are having difficulty penetrating. They've worked the ball into the corners a few times. Hoskevy does nice work in there, but they've not been able to crack this very disciplined team defense that Dallas Sidekicks really are known for in this league.
Coming back now, Cleveland with Wright coming in. Wright, I thought, was fouled. Play continues, though. On the right side, here's Kinsey. Knocked back for Lawson. 8:20 to go. Third quarter, 4-0. Dallas with the lead. Steve Kinsey dekes on Lukic. Has to deke around the referee as well on those boards. Knocked out toward Lawson. Hoskevy trying to close him. Lawson swinging it now to Beto, who already has a goal. He had 3 goals and 2 assists the other night against Tacoma. That means 3 times fans here saw the Beto shuffle. A collision on that far side. Bernie James and Kinsey, and a little extracurricular.
By both of them, really.
Yeah. They both stayed with that. Here's Lawson. Coming back against Phillips. Lawson holding it. Nice chip to Dolly. Oh, a great give-and-go idea, but it was just off, intended for Dolly by Smith.
Smith's just an excellent playmaker, seeing that play and putting the ball on the money.
All right, tackled away by Powers. Dallas playing so disciplined here. Dolly coming back in the right side. Now it's Powers. All right.
The key here for Dallas is to go forward, but only go forward very selectively when it's on. Don't force it. Otherwise, just play discipline and only go forward when it's really on.
Here's Dolly. Off the glass, James. Now to Paul Wright, who heads it back to Otto Orff. Well, how can Cleveland get their offense in gear? Bring Otto Orff up more, go to a 6th attack, although it's very early in the game.
Well, Orff is already moving out, as you see him trying to help draw some players out so that Cleveland can have more numerical advantage when they do work the ball out. The other thing is Cleveland could use a break. It comes right down to it. Sometimes that's what it takes.
Cleveland have 2 guys right now that can really fly. One is Charlie Green, one is Paul Wright, but they've been unable to take advantage of that speed. So it's a credit to Dallas, too, that they've been able to do that. But Wright has not been a factor in this one, and he's one of those players that I think has to become one when you're not playing with Marinaro and Marhetic. Hoskevy to Green, and that's blocked by Powers. Gave it back up, and a foul is called as Powers tried to get it back on the recovery.
Well, we'll see how well Dallas really, how they cover up for each other.
Dargo, but they didn't like that one. Too quick. So they'll do it again.
But when you think about the goals that were scored in the first half, certainly that second goal where McLeod was just passing the ball and Dolly created the break. That's just a break.
Right.
And Cleveland hasn't gotten that kind of break.
And this could be a break or almost a breakaway, but the pass was a little behind Smith. Here's Tattoo against Dargo. Inside and out. Back in. Kevin Smith all the way across. Chinaboo has that lethal foot either side. He just missed.
Partially deflected, I think, which made it go further wide than it might have otherwise.
Mepham off the boards. I've seen Chinaboo score many from there, and
he loves it from there. He loves to light him up from there.
I've seen maybe more off the left foot perhaps than the right, but he can go either way.
Certainly one of the heavier shots in the entire league.
Radar guns have proven that. Ball played all the way back, and Charlie Green goes after it. 5:38 to go. Green lost it. Great recovery by Charlie Green, or it was a 2-on-1 or maybe 2 on the goalkeeper, and Tattoo was one of those 2. That's not quitting on the ball. Here's Mepham. Sliding for Dargo. Knocked away by Dolly. Where is Tattoo? Upfield. He has to wait for the ball. Or caught it nowhere land, and Tattoo missed. Kinsey does it. 5-0.
Oh, you can't afford to leave Tattoo that wide open. And what it really comes down to on that goal is that Cleveland, in their attack, were not organized up. Their attack breaks down. Tattoo comes the other way. He shoots wide here. Kinsey follows it up well and puts the ball right on target. Mepham gets a little piece of it, but not enough to keep it out.
The tough thing about that pass is so late in coming to Tattoo. Orff gets caught, doesn't know whether to come out, go back, plays it halfway and gets burnt, but not by Tattoo, by Kinsey. 5-0 Dallas. You're watching Cleveland Crunch Soccer on Sports Channel Ohio.
Tune on Sports Channel America any night of the week for exciting sports.
On comes Fuller on a breakaway. Let's shoot, score! side of that tram for Thomas. He scores!
Nobody delivers the NHL like we do, with more than 100 hard-hitting contests straight through to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Bennett's going to have to hurry.
Keep pace with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame as they challenge top college teams across the nation. Climb into the ring every week with the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour. It's a knockout. Feel the fever of high school sports with the National Federation Game of the Week. Sports Nightly keeps you up to date with the latest scores, highlights, and news before and after every event. Plus, men's and women's college basketball, the Los Angeles and Boston Marathons, pro tennis, English League soccer, international amateur events, and more. Turn on Sports Channel America for exciting sports.
Two obvious breakdowns led to this goal against the Cleveland Crunch. First of all, they really had no idea in their attack, not much design to their play. It breaks down, then they leave Tattoo wide open, and he's able to do some damage here by drawing out Otto Orff. Steve Kinsey follows it up and puts it into that empty net.
And we're coming back live. Sidekicks on the attack. Roderick Scott's first shift. Look for Lawson off of those boards. Now it's Sweeney coming back.
You know, it was funny on that last attack that broke down for Cleveland before the goal. Mepham, as he carried the ball forward, was motioning the players to try and set up and get something working, some design to their attack. Nothing did develop. It breaks down, and they pay for it at the other end.
Bernie James with it. And the guy that you want to see if you're a Crunch fan or a Crunch player left alone, the last guy, was Tattoo.
All by himself.
Sweeney. Back to Otto Orff. Orff came on in relief, and that might be a good word of P.J. Johns. Johns was pestered by some 23 shots. He made some great saves in that first half. But Kai Hoskeby wanted to make a change and just get things going the other way. Things were not clicking. Ball played in now to Michael King. Lawson hanging tough off the boards. Good job by Snyder to win it for Mike Powers. Sidestepping on Reeves. Right side for Snyder. Snyder will hold things up with 3:52 to go. Ted, the tough thing for the Crunch, try as they may, when you're losing 5-0 and you're thinking about, or you shouldn't be thinking about it, but probably thoughts will creep in about last night and the trip and waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and the legs tend to get heavy.
You just can't think about it. You have to keep plugging away. Something could happen. It's certainly never going to happen if you don't keep working.
No, San Diego proved that last week when Cleveland had a 4-0 lead with 5 minutes to go, and people probably headed for the exits and learned when they heard Mike Snyder's radio broadcast that it wasn't over. There were going to be 2 overtimes.
And then we ended up with a great overtime.
That's right. Tremendous. Here's Kevin Smith. So don't shut the door yet, Crunch fans. But this Sidekicks team has played very well. And to their credit, they've really disrupted anything that Cleveland has tried to generate, right from the opening, actually. Here's Kevin Smith. Now for Tattoo. He was fouled by Bernie James. A look at Bernie. One of the more popular players to ever play indoor soccer in Cleveland. There was a big howl when he was traded, along with Peter Ward to Tacoma, but one of the first things that Al Miller did when he came back with the Crunch was to get Bernie James back. Smith to Chinapoo. 2:45 to play. Deflected but right to Beto. Open net, Tattoo. Throw away another jersey. 6-0 Dallas.
Well, when it goes one direction, it seems to go all the way. The Crunch really had the odds stacked against them coming into here, being up against a guy like Tattoo, the leading scorer in the league, a team with the great home record as the Dallas Sidekicks have here. Here's the play. It's played in by Chinapoo. James does a nice job of intercepting, but his clearance goes directly onto the foot of Beto. Beto finds Tattoo wide open out in front. Tattoo, he almost took a second and yawned before he put that one in there. But you'll see here, the ball played in by Chinapoo. James cuts it out, but it goes straight into the path of Beto. Beto cuts the ball very nicely. Tattoo could have done that in his sleep.
Yeah, he won't get many easier chances than that. King on the far side. Tattoo has scored a couple of them. 41 goals now. He's already been the MISL Player of the Week more times than anyone this year. 3 of them, the last count. Coming back the other way. Otto Orff almost got it underneath the scoreboard, almost deflected off of it. Dargle battling with Chinapoo. And now it's Kevin Smith to Beto. Going long. Into the air was Paul Wright. Smith knocking it ahead for Salgado. He's a local player. Oh, and a great shot. He scored! What a shot!
That's a beautiful goal, and if he didn't get scored against, that's the kind of one to give up. Ottawa, he just barely got to see it because the ball was hit so well, and it was an unexpected shot, too, because it's from far out and not a great angle, but Salgado hit that ball with so much confidence and just ripped it into the upper corner. You won't see many prettier goals than that.
I thought it was a heck of a shot, and I thought it was going off the post. Let's watch it again.
Kevin Smith, great work to force the ball loose, and here you go. He just lets it bounce once and then whips around on the turn, or almost gets there, but that ball it's really hit well. It's a scorcher, and it goes into the upper corner. That's on the highlight film, and Salgado's got to remember that goal for the rest of his life, because here he is. Look how far out he is, and look at the angle he's got, and he just rips it.
He's about 40, 45 feet out. He's just over the red line when he comes in. Coming back the other way now. Dallas. It's all Dallas's way, 7-0. Salgado from Smith. And the Sidekicks are coming right again at the crunch. Little killer instinct here now from Dallas. Everybody getting into it. Played into Roderick Scott. And now out to Hoskeby. Kai Hoskeby coming back on the double team, and now Powers slowed him down. Hoskeby stays with it to Lukic. Hoskeby to Bobo Lukic, walking in off the post.
It's that kind of day, isn't it?
You stole my line. That's exactly where I was going.
Unbelievable.
Well, that kind of a day for me, too. You're stealing my lines.
Nice work by Hoskeby and Lukic. So they finally did work their way through the Dallas defense with some fine work, some good combination, and penetrated well. And then they come up with the bad luck on the inside of the post.
Wright plays it in, or tries to, for Hoskeby. Knocks straight out. Here's Phillips, a bomb, but that's wide. Lukic after it. Hoskeby had collided with Roderick Scott, but they're both okay.
Right now, the Crunch is really playing for some pride. Get a few goals here for your honor. You know, show that you're not going to be whitewashed.
They'd like to have a good taste in their mouth prior to the All-Star break. This is not a good way to go into it. 36 seconds left. Played in off a couple of deflections, and Lawson doesn't fool with it. 31 seconds left here in the third quarter.
Well, even if you can produce a good quarter play and try and build on it, in other words, come out here, really play toe-to-toe, head-to-head with the Sidekicks, maybe outscore them in the final quarter, give yourself some momentum and feel a little bit better about this.
Bernie James has a long way to go to catch Kinsey. The shot got blocked by Off and then play back. Really, that's going to be your goal. Try and win the next quarter. You've got to find the challenge there and then hope for the best. But a 7-goal lead against Dallas, that's probably the last team in the league I'd like to be trailing at this point, in all honesty.
Especially in this building.
7-0. Sidekicks. Tattoo has got a couple of goals. Beto has helped out. Salgado, you talk about your team effort. Otto Orff played only one quarter, but he looks a little bit drained out there because the Sidekicks just keep on coming. 7-0 Dallas at the end of 3.
Do it now at Spitzer Ford. Lease a brand new 1990 Ranger XLT, very well equipped, for just $169 a month through Ford authorized leasing system. Do it now at Spitzer Ford and lease a brand new 1990 Tempo GL sedan with every major option available for just $199 a month.
And if you have a trade, we want to buy it, and we'll pay you top dollar to get it.
At Spitzer Ford in Mentor and in Cuyahoga Falls.
You've got my old route.
Probably not many houses back then.
Business looks good. What you gonna do with all your money?
I put in the bank.
Which one?
Society.
Me too. Good bank for us businessmen. Let me see one of those papers.
Let me see 35 cents.
All the things that make you different make us a different bank.
Wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen to what you have to say.
The power of teaching.
The world won't get no better if we're just
The power to wake up
let it
young
be.
minds. The power to wake up the world. Teachers have that power. Reach for the power. Teach. I'm Edward James Olmos, and we're recruiting new teachers. Call 1-800-45-TEACH.
Welcome back, everyone. It's been all Dallas so far, 7-0. They're just doing everything right as they lead the Cleveland Crunch 7-0 at the end of 3 quarters of play. Time to remind you that Sports Channel Ohio's coverage of Notre Dame basketball continues on Tuesday, February 20th at 7:30 when the Blue Demons of DePaul take on the Fighting Irish. That is one of the top rivalries that you'll find in college basketball. That's Notre Dame basketball live on Sports Channel Ohio. Can Notre Dame do it again with time running out like they did against Syracuse? Let's talk All-Stars right now because that's what's coming up. Congratulations to these players on making the All-Star team. Tattoo, Chris Sobieski, Doc Lawson, Mike Powers, and Billy Phillips as the assistant coach. On the Cleveland side, Kai Hoskevy, who replaces Hector Marinaro, Michael King, Bernie James making the team. And I thought Mike Sweeney did as well, didn't he? On that All-Star team? Yeah, he's on it too. So we congratulate all of those people.
And for James and King, they're the first time that they've been named to the MISL, so an all-star team. An extra congratulations to those two.
All right, we are all set for the 4th quarter of play, and really, for the Crunch, it's a tough spot. And really, they've got to find some challenge, win the quarter, get things off on a good note. No one likes to get beat. No one likes to be shut out. And right now, it has been all Dallas. Otto Orff throwing long for Sweeney. Off the glass, coming in, and then holding up on his run, it looked like it was Olabi. Maybe unable to read the carom. Up now for Tattoo. Dev Reeves against him. Nice block by Reeves, and then Tattoo into the boards, draws a foul.
Draws a penalty. Reeves a little disappointed because we're going to see it on the replay. Tattoo really used his arms on Reeves first, and Tattoo knows how to take care of himself. We don't see it, the original thing. You do see Reeves piling Tattoo into the boards, and justifiably it's 2 minutes, but just before that, just a few strides before, here we'll see it as he takes him. Watch Tattoo's arms as he shoves Reeves. So Reeves going for a little bit of a payback, comes in, but when he does it along the boards, that's going to draw a penalty because the board's being close by and the danger of injury.
You know, I didn't see the penalty being called, and neither did Reeves, because he's just now walking out. He was out there, and Tattoo shook hands with him and probably said goodbye, but he's going to be out for at least a couple of minutes, or maybe less, depending on what happens on the power play. James and Tattoo, did you just see that? No. Tattoo gave a little playful kick in the rear end. I mean, when have you seen that with Tattoo and Bernie James?
He's trying to tell Bernie, hey, you know, this game's kind of out of reach. Why don't you settle down?
Let's not hurt anybody. Coming back, here's Kevin Smith. Playing it into Beto. Sidekicks have been 2 for 2 on the power play. Kevin Smith from Chinapoo blocked. Smith, now Beto. Nice quick touches out for Chinapoo. The shot blocked by Orff. Kinsey off the boards. Out for Kevin Smith. Smith, good job to Beto. Turning. Tattoo. Right back for Beto, and he just overran it. I like Beto there in that low post. He's able to kick that ball out rather well.
This is a nice exercise, really, for the Dallas Sidekicks to get the opportunity to use their power play as much as they have. They obviously needed some improvement in this area, and they're making some strides here at Cleveland's expense. But Cleveland, out of frustration, has gotten themselves into penalty trouble, and it's just been that kind of game.
Here's Tattoo from Beto, and it's blocked. Kevin Smith knocking it around to Chinapoo. Into the left corner for Kinsey. Blocked by Otto Orff on the short side. Right out to Chinapoo, a minute to go on the power play. Sidekicks with it. Kevin Smith in the corner for Tattoo. Right across. Beto let it go for Chinapoo. Now it's Kinsey again. Back out for Chinapoo. Broken up. Michael King tripped by Chinapoo. That's 2. You've got to call that because King had a couple of steps on him.
King's making some ground, but Chinapoo barely clipped him, so he feels like he's being victimized. But as you said, it's the kind of play that might have turned into something as King is working his way out of his own end, and he's taken down from behind. And Chinapoo's going to claim that he probably didn't even do it on purpose, but it looks bad enough that he's going to get 2 minutes.
Well, if it's farther up the field and he's got that edge on him, they might call shootout. But it has to be a lot farther up the field than that. They're obviously not going to call it in that kind of a situation.
Beto was coming over anyway to try and close King down. It would have been a nice race to see, and the fans were robbed from a nice chance, so there's a 2-minute penalty.
Speaking of the fans, a nice crowd here in Dallas, 8,618. So now the Crunch will be out there with equal strength. It'll be 4-on-4. for the next 47 seconds, and then they'll have an edge. Here's the third quarter stats, and it shows you on the opposite side that the Sidekicks have outshot Cleveland. That's got to be the 3-period total. 28-13. Cleared up now by Powers. Orff way out of his goal area with Tattoo smelling that ball.
Nicely done by Orff. He's unsighted. He doesn't know what's behind him, but he's able to lift it over and keep possession.
Coming back on the left, it's Sweeney for Hoskovy. Crunch trying to get on the board with Paul Wright, and he put it upstairs with 12:50 to go in the fourth quarter, and Chris Sobieski working towards a shutout.
Wright going through the motions again, saying I should have got over that ball and kept it down and on goal, but things not going well for the Cleveland Crunch. Paul Wright, one of the players that they're looking to create some offense. It's a second-year player in the league. He did quite well in his initial season out in San Diego, brought over by Kai Hoskovy. And when you're missing players like Marhetic, Marinero, you're looking for a Paul Wright to maybe do a little better than he did on that last shot.
Powers coming back on the right side. You know, before the game, Hoskovy didn't know what Marhetic's status would be, and my guess is that Pato was probably at a delicate stage, and they figured, why play him in this one game? He has a whole week to rest. Here's the power play now coming on as Reeves went out. Sweeney took the heat, gave it up to Wright, toe poked away by Beto. Well, Sweeney's working hard, I'll say that.
Hard tackling by Sweeney. Some of it's frustration, some of it's let's try and inspire our guys and show some pride and get something going here and stick a few goals in anyway.
Well, the captain's got to do that, and nobody sets a finer example or a better tone than Sweeney. You look at him there, and if you had to look up again at the scoreboard, you wouldn't have believed it. He's down 7-0, struggling like that, working hard.
These guys are professionals.
King off a deflection, and Sobieski will get it.
A professional is really, he's paid to come out and play each and every game, each and every minute. He can't be worried about the scoreboard.
Coming back on the right side, Lukic ahead on the left wing. Knocked down for Charlie Green with 11:52 to play. Right side for Lukic. Knocked back to Wright. Everybody off for the All-Star break this coming week as Wright went down. Compliments of Snyder. Power play another 22 seconds. Played right across. Michael King, nice save, Sobieski. That had to be his best save of the day. Lukic to Wright. All the way across, not a good pass. And Beto stopped it easy for Sobieski. On the toss to McLeod. Sidekicks are shorthanded. 5 more seconds. McLeod across, and it's too far for Snyder. He had a long run to make on that. Charlie Green now coming back the other way and holds up on it. Sidekicks have killed their penalty. Chinipu is back on with 11:15 to go in the fourth. 7-0. And the Sidekicks have the big lead. A couple of goals by Tattoo if you joined us late, but the tone was set in the first quarter when Dolly and McLeod scored to give the club of the Sidekicks a 2-0 lead. And then those two power play goals really seemed to take a lot out of the Cleveland Crunch. That was before the first half.
Well, you have to figure that fatigue is partially a factor here, trying to get yourself going after having a tough game just last night against Wichita. And you see that in the little things, the Michael King shot going over the top, the Paul Wright shot being just a little bit off. This last pass by Charlie Green going out of bounds instead of on target to Kai Hoskovy. Just the little things that add up and add to the frustration and just make it that much tougher when you're playing a team that has been playing so consistently well like the Dallas Sidekicks.
And it's been all Dallas. They lead it here 7-0. A reminder, you can bring your group out and cheer the Crunch on all season long. The next opportunity next Saturday at 8:05 when the Crunch take on the Dallas Sidekicks. Great seats are still available. Call the Crunch Sales Department 349-2090 or 535-KICK. That's 5425 to make your reservations. Coming back on the right side, Bernie James to midfield against Milano. Lifted the other way. In the 4 games that they've played so far this year, there have been some nice close games and some overtimes, but this one, Dallas has it and they're in control. Here's Sweeney coming back the other way. Leaving it off. Phillips knocking it out. Mepham. Reeves with a touch. Waits for James to join him. There's Bernie from Dev Reeves, the rookie from Quincy College. Slides it left to Mepham.
Tattoo doing a little bit of poaching at the other end, was just hanging up there looking for the quick break.
And you can do that when you're up 7-0. Here comes Tattoo to Chinipu, and Otto Orff saw it, couldn't get the feet on it completely. Tattoo pulls back on it. Even though Orff was out, there was a big screen set up in front. Now Chinipu has it knocked away, and Powers takes it. Knocked to the left side to Milano. Dallas playing with all of the confidence, really, of a first-place team. And even in the power play where they've struggled, they look very sharp on it. When you're scoring goals and everything is working, you've got that home crowd behind you, you're so comfortable, they're making it look easier than it probably is.
Well, it takes a lot of discipline and hard work and organization, and that's what they've been able to do. The team that, as you said, has played together for quite some time when you really look at the personnel, and that enables them to take this kind of game and really throw all of the elements together and make it work.
I know sports is a business, but folks, deep down, it really is a game. And I'll tell you, there's two different feelings going on down there. When you're winning 7-0, you're on top of the world, but it's a totally different situation for the other team.
It's the intangibles that you're talking about, and Dallas has been able to put them together. Cleveland still really searching as a new team.
Right side, broken up by Powers. No, Cleveland and St. Louis, people have said they don't look like expansion teams because of the veterans they have out there, but they've had one problem that expansion teams will always have, and that's inconsistency. And I guess that's what makes them an expansion team by level.
I think so, because by talent, they're right in there with just about any of the teams in the league. But when it comes down to putting the product on the field consistently night in, night out, and doing a job, they've not been quite up to that task.
Kai Hoskeby feels that he could get 11 guys out there to match up with anyone. But once you go past that, then it gets tough. And then if you have injuries, then the depth becomes a problem. And it's tough to match the depth of some of the other clubs.
Well, you're talking about some young players who certainly have some potential in this league, but they're not quite there.
Into the corner. Players battle. Sobieski got a piece of it. And now it's cleared out by Kinsey with 8:38 to go. Sidekicks leading at 7-0 over the Cleveland Crunch. Sidekicks scored a couple in the first, couple in the second, 3 in the third, including what I thought 2 brilliant goals, one by Tattoo from an angle that very few people could have scored on, and Salgado's from about 45 feet. We've got a foul somewhere in the box. Dangerous play.
Yeah, it's Kinsey. Dargle going for that ball. Kinsey came in with the high foot. And Cleveland has looked dangerous on these set pieces around the top of the box. They've been a little bit unlucky.
Here's Dargle. Right side for Paul Wright. His shot saved off the kneecap, it looked like, of Sobieski. Wright bounced away but couldn't get to the ball. Kinsey from Milano. Otto Orff beat him there. Played it up for Wright. Good ball. Wright is fouled by Mike Powers. Free kick for Dennis Mepham. Dargle lets it go to Sean Phillips. The rookie puts a left footer on, and it's blocked by Lawson, it looks like, out of play. So they're going to give the ball to Cleveland, so Lawson did touch it last. There's an official timeout on the floor. Dallas with Doc Lawson helping out, leading it 7-0.
For some people, doing their basic tax forms by themselves can make them feel like they're climbing the walls.
I'm Renee. My full name is, I remember that, Dependence.
If you need help, free tax help is available from IRS-trained volunteers. Find them by calling 1-800-424-1040. They'll make your taxes less taxing.
Ty, weren't we just talking about expansion teams? That's our next TV game. Cleveland meeting St. Louis on Friday, March 16th. That's an 8:30 start, and it's here on Sports Channel Ohio. And by that time in March, things will be a little bit clearer, I would think. Things may be more in focus. I believe that's right at or about the trading deadline in the MISL. You're not hearing too many stories these days, but one guy you know on the block is Dave Hagen, because he has been suspended by Tacoma, and he is asked to be traded. But I think when you suspend a guy for 30 days, you pretty much are telling him you're going to be traded, I would think, because that's tough to bring a guy back after 30 days for that particular incident. So Hagen is one player that's available for teams that want to take a look. I tell you what Cleveland has done. They've got Drew Ferguson in for a look-see this week, and he was a popular player with the Force as we look at Billy Phillips there. And they were thinking about bringing in Craig Allen, but we're told that he had to have another operation, so scratch Craig Allen for this season. He might have generated some excitement to this Cleveland franchise, I'll tell you.
Certainly a guy that can find the back of the net and hold a good position deep in the other team's end.
Ball played out now to Bernie James. Picked up by Kevin Smith. On the boards, Chinapu. On the block, Charlie Green and Kevin Smith are there. Coming back, Tattoo knocked it away from Bernie James. Tattoo coming back against Koziel. And they run into each other as McLeod comes back the other way.
They just broke each other's fall. How's that?
Yeah, at the end, they look like dance partners, didn't they? Coming back now, it's Kevin Smith. Wes McLeod, look at the space he has. McLeod, right across, tattoo on the volley. Great save out of Orf. That would have been a great goal because that's not an easy ball to settle in there.
No, that ball was taking some wild hops. Tattoo getting his body in a good position to strike the ball, and he was hitting it for the corner. I'll tell you what, that's a great save by Otto Orf because Tattoo was hitting the target, and he was hitting it pretty well.
Bernie James coming back against McLeod. Michael King trying to turn, but Beto had him tied up. Knocked up now to James. Billy Phillips giving some time now to the second-year player, Salgado, who was drafted right out of high school. They really like him as a prospect.
He showed some flair on that goal, and showed an ability to do the unexpected because that shot was from way out, and he ripped it into the upper corner.
6:40 to go until both teams get a break for All-Star Week. Here's Koziel. Intercepted. Phillips knocking it back to Charlie Green. Now it's Salgado to Kevin Smith on the back heel. Richard Chinipu right back the other way for the Sidekicks. Chinipu giving it across to Beto. Beto's been hot. 1 goal today, but he's been passing the ball rather well, and he had the 3 goals the other night, plus a couple of assists against Tacoma. Maybe he'll get more here. Right across Kevin Smith. Great goal, but a great pass.
Again, really, Dallas making it look easy. And the way they make it look easy is they work so hard for each other. Beto really working to get open and showing Kevin Smith feeding him. They combining so well. The communication is there. The chemistry is there. And a pretty little play here. And first it's Smith into Beto. Beto out wide. He's able to find Smith back inside. Smith really nobody near him. And that's something that should be taken care of. He's able to line up his shot, come in at an angle, and pick his corner.
There is the goal scorer, Kevin Smith, as we go to break. Dallas leads it 8-0. You're watching Cleveland Crunch Soccer on Sports Channel Ohio.
Don't you want some of this stuff?
JJ, now that you've won it all, how are you going hardship?
My man JJ McCormick's not only going hardship, I'm going lottery.
A lot of people will tell you that cocaine not only will get you high, but will take your performance to a different level. But in this game, the higher you go, the closer you get to the bottom.
I'm JJ, man.
Juking, jamming, popping, rocking, lost in the traffic. Every game's a battle every day. So what the hell's going on?
One game is in your face, the next thing isn't even in the game.
Hey, JJ! Stop, JJ!
You guys seen JJ?
Police announced that they'd arrested JJ McCormick.
Here's another look at that goal from the Dallas Sidekicks. It went from Smith into Beto, back to Smith. Look at Beto, how hard he works to get out wide there to create some space. And then Smith breaks into the open space into the center of the Cleveland defense and is able to put away really an excellent pass by Beto from the side.
Smith's 7th of the year. And there he is taking a look at it. Club record for him, 265th game. That's not a consecutive game streak. Mike Powers has that one for Dallas. Powers, this would be Powers' 188th straight game, and before that, Mark Carpet had the record, and it was right up there. King on the turnaround, Snyder the block, another shot taken, blocked. The block shots keep adding up for Powers. Dolly missing on that. Powers and Sweeney bang each other. Into Michael King. Out to Dargo, blocked out for Lukic now, who looked like he was the initial recipient. Bubbo's shot is blocked.
Kinsey may have saved a goal there.
Headed down and almost in by Snyder.
That might be the only way the Crunch score tonight.
Well, you said they could use a break, but right now, all Dallas is going to try to do is protect Sobieski, try to give him the shutout if they can. Because the outcome of the game is not in doubt, and it hasn't been really for some time. Dallas has had a big lead. Actually, tell you what, when you're up 4-0 like that, the way Dallas was playing, if Cleveland could have gotten an early goal in the third quarter, then you've got to say, sure, it can happen. But when Dallas gets the next couple, it's pretty much lights out because it's the kind of a team that doesn't blow leads like that.
They don't give away easy goals much.
And they may score again. Off the post for Tattoo. Well, that would have been a hat trick for him in the third jersey to go into the stands. Well, he can't score every time, can he? What a great player and what a great salesman for the game. When he was even when he was injured and he was a little bit depressed, at least initially. I tell you, the fans couldn't tell. He was signing all of the autographs, making the appearances, doing what he could.
He has a charismatic presence. He really does reach out to the community and to the young players, and he's got that great smile. Like you said, a great salesman for the indoor game and for the league, and he'll be doing more of that out in San Diego all this week in the preparations for the All-Star game on Wednesday night.
He and Kevin Crowe have their book out. Just came out this year. I remember reading about it a while back, but it's finally come out. Here's Dolly, stepped over the ball and went down, and now Otto Orff will put it back in play. Up the left wing side. Here comes Mepham, leaving it for Paul Wright. 4:25 to go. Look at the shots on goal in the second half. Cleveland doing better, but that first half was something else. Off a tip, just missed by Mepham. Paul Wright, the shot, wide of the far post. Bernie James after it.
It's funny here, you watch the Dallas team play, and they're playing with a little bit of caution when they get around any of the Cleveland players, because Cleveland is probably going to try and nail a few people out of frustration.
Off the boards, a loose ball, and McLeod will clear it off.
Any player who's played anywhere gets in these situations. You're up by a lot of goals. You don't want to get hurt.
Paul Wright off a deflection, and that goes wide. Dowley along the boards. Got free. Oh, he had Tattoo open, and he couldn't hit him off the boards. Mepham poking it forward. Now to Dev Reeves. A long, long day for the Cleveland Crunch. And it all started really last night with Wichita. Here comes Snyder from Tattoo, and Otto Orff just got in the way of that one. James with a block. All right, slides it back to Orff, who originally was signed like right by San Diego in the MISL. Has played in other leagues as well, indoors and out. Coming back the other way. Phillips going to the outside on two players. Kevin Smith took it away, but he fouled him. Held on to it. 3:04 to go. And an 8-0 lead for Dallas. Mepham. Dallas has already won more games going into the All-Star break than they ever have going into the same stretch. Here's Wright. And that ball should have been anywhere but where it landed, and he knows it. But it's just been a frustrating day. Nothing is going right for Cleveland.
And we've not seen much of Kai Hoskevy again these last several minutes of the game, and really at all in the fourth quarter. You have to realize that he's trying to get something going within the team, and he's not really at full speed himself. He's coming back from the injury, and he probably just doesn't feel the way the game is going that has much to gain by getting out there and risking further injury to that foot.
I don't blame him at all. I wouldn't put myself in. I'd want to take a look at this and give someone else some playing time, because like you said before, really it's got to be a serious thought on both team sides about getting injured. I'm not sure if I'd want Tattoo out there right now.
Yeah.
Here's McLeod the other way.
Well, you watch. The Dallas Sidekicks, you won't see many of them at this part of the game doing much dribbling if they can help it. They're not going to put a lot of touches on the ball. If you're smart, you work the ball quickly, 1 and 2 touch, and you don't leave yourself open for somebody maybe making a late tackle.
Kinsey, they might have Tattoo out if he can get the hat trick and keep the crowd excited, but at this point when you're up 8-0, that's always the big fear is some kind of an injury. All the way back for Sobieski. Right side for Powers. Mike Powers really has come a long way in his career indoors. Tattoo fouled by Otto Orff. And Tattoo tying up those shoes, so look out, he's ready. With 2:04 to go and an 8-0 lead. Dallas, it's been their day in front of better than 8,000 at Reunion Arena. Knocked back to Powers, who started out with Wichita in the MISL, but the last 3 years here with Dallas, he's really come into his own as a very respected defender.
He's one of those unsung hero type of players. He's there, he works so hard and blocks so many shots.
Here's King across, but it's behind Sean Phillips. Lawson with a block. He and Tattoo off to the races. Poked ahead just too far for Tattoo. And now Otto Orff is there, lifting it. And that one goes into the first row of seats out of play with 1:34 left. Billy Phillips opening the doors. Done a nice job for this team since he came in for Gordon Jago without coaching experience.
He made the transition very well. It's always nice to walk into a team that's pretty well established, but he's been able to keep the team going in the same direction that Gordon Jago had established.
I shouldn't say totally without experience, because he was sort of a second assistant coach when he had stopped playing, but not really the first guy there for a while. Then last year he assisted Jago, then took over. Here's Salgado. So not a lot of coaching experience, and having to coach players that he played on the same team with, much like Kai Hoskeby, so it's an adjustment. You've got to earn the respect of one another, and it appears as if Billy Phillips has done that.
Tattoo getting up once again after being taken down.
Okay, he takes a lot of punishment, but he just gets right back.
It's a good thing he's not real tall. He doesn't have that far to go when he has to get up.
I think you're making a joke, but I'm not sure. It's been a long day for us as well. 104. You haven't been able to analyze any crunch goals. 8-0. Here's one with King, but he just put it upstairs. And it's a little off here, a little off there. And you could play this game. You could go another 20 minutes. You could go another 30 minutes. And sure, they'd come up with a goal or two, but it's going to be like this. I mean, it's one of those days.
It's certainly not coming easily. They've had to work for each and every opportunity even that they've had, and the opportunities have not panned out for them.
This is a good opportunity, though, for Kai Hoskeby to watch and do some coaching. No risk for the injury, and see what some of the younger players are doing out there, because more of them are getting more playing time today because of the injuries. Koziel has been out there a bit. Phillips, here's Wright. His shot is blocked.
One guy that's still playing, and he has to, really, a goalkeeper, all out of work, playing with full commitment. He wants to keep his goals against average down, so you watch him. He's definitely all the way into the game. Some of the other guys just kind of know it's going to be a long night.
And does it out of work want to earn more playing time as well?
Sure. It's his chance to shine if he can.
On the left side, here's Koziel. Off the glass, headed once. Kicked out in the next backheel by Chinapu. Look out as Tattoo got behind his man. Orff does a juggling act. Here's Tattoo, the chip, but Orff is there like a center fielder. He had Salgado there. But that one could have been his third goal. Here comes Koziel. That would have had the crowd going crazy. Here's White trying to break the shutout. Stopped by Sobieski. Another one saved. Sobieski on Orff the shot, and that's blocked. Wouldn't that have been something if Orff stopped the shutout with that kind of a shot? Well, they're excited in Dallas, and I don't blame them. Dallas with a great job to defeat Cleveland 8-0. Career shutouts for Sobieski. This one will be his fourth. He's had 3 with Dallas and 1 with Cleveland. And that Dallas team in front of him, I think, played well. That's where it's a team effort. For P.J. Johns, he didn't get the same kind of help that Sobieski had.
Not really a tough one for P.J. Johns. And really on the heels of the game from last night, it's just been a tough well-round fatigue setting in, and the team just not quite there for him.
Long lost weekend for the Crunch. They lose in Dallas 8-0 here at Reunion Arena. We'll be back in just a moment.
Turn on Sports Channel America any night of the week for exciting sports.
On comes Buller on a breakaway. Let's shoot, score! Moving into the circle, Simon Graham for Thomas. He scores!
Nobody delivers the NHL like we do, with more than 100 hard-hitting contests straight through to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Bennett's gonna have to hurry.
Keep this with the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame as they challenge top college teams across the nation. Climb into the ring every week with the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour. It's a knockout. Feel the fever of high school sports with the National Federation Game of the Week. Sports Nightly keeps you up to date with the latest scores, highlights, and news before and after every event. Plus, men's and women's college basketball, the Los Angeles and Boston Marathon, pro tennis, English League soccer, international amateur events, and more. Turn on Sports Channel America for exciting sports.
2,000,004, 2,000,005.
The U.S. Census isn't just a population count. It helps allocate federal, state, and local funds to your community for things like hospitals, schools, and daycare centers. So take a few minutes and answer the census. It counts for more than you think.
Get to know one of the best teams in college basketball. Digger Phelps helps you keep pace with Notre Dame, introducing you to the team and taking you on the hardwood for every matchup. The Digger Phelps Show, Mondays at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, exclusively on Sports Channel America. Watch some of the best soccer players compete in one of the oldest soccer leagues in the world. Direct from Great Britain, it's English League Soccer. Rugged and exciting action every week on English League Soccer, only on Sports Channel America. Check your TV listings for days and times.
Welcome back, everyone. Ty, a tough way for Cleveland to end this before the All-Star break, but on the plus side, hopefully they can get some of their injured players back for the stretch drive toward a playoff spot.
Cleveland has a break now. As you said, injuries will heal. But they've got to get this behind them. It's a new start, really, when they come back from the All-Star break. For Dallas, it's just more of the same. They've been playing very consistently this year, particularly at home. They showed again why they're one of the finest teams in the league.
Dallas wins it today, and really pretty much a runaway right from the open. 8-0 is your final score. Our next game coming up here on Sports Channel will be Friday, March 16th at 8:30, and it will be when Cleveland takes on the St. Louis Storm. Our executive producer is Joe Tanzarello. Today's game has been...
We're friends, Andre, please.
You can't believe it? Maybe you'll believe